Hello and welcome back, everyone. We are going to be reading through the open beta patch notes. Then we will be ending stream, but probably starting another stream about 30 minutes after. That is going to be the plan for today. As you can see, there is a lot of stuff going to be taking notes for an eventual. These are kind of the main ideas of the patch type of video, but as you can see, there's a lot. It's meaty. We have also already installed our first mod to tweak stuff. Courtesy of Count Christo. Apparently they doubled everything in terms of procs reductions, except for they didn't double the effect of harbors, because when you translate it to an efficiency modifier, it's less powerful. So we've already installed this. I would recommend installing this as well, because this seems to be just kind of an oversight. So, with that said, let's get into it. It's alive. Actually, no, there's something that's more important here. There's something that's more important. We have to do something else first. We have to see our baby. The river map mode. I also have a river map mode mod. Hopefully that doesn't just override the old river map mode. I forgot to uninstall the mod. The mod should be unnecessary at this point. So should the mod for they increase the money cap. So the mod we have to make it so that you have money over $1 million should also be unnecessary. But time for the rivers. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Let's go. And then we can hover the rivers. See where it connects to. See what it gives us. They're not all equal in terms of how much food production I think they give you. Or is it population capacity where they're not all equal? We need to find a river that's unequal. They're equal, but some are more equal than others. Not like this. Aren't they? Do they make them all equal? Could have sworn that either the pop capacity or the food would change. But not seeing any variation. Okay, but here's the new river map mode. We have a meme video we need to make on this. Old stream category? Ah, my bad. Thank you for letting me know. So let's go back to the browser here and then update the Twitch. For the Twitch, we're accidentally streaming Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Someone jumps in, they're like, this isn't Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And then we're like, isn't it? Isn't it? Wow, there's 2K viewers right now. Holy shit. Instead of like 50. It's too early to get that aroused? Never too early. You know what? We should have uploaded... We're planning on making a new emote for Big Nice. We should have uploaded it before we revealed such a mad mode. Okay, so we are going to be reading through it. From here, 1.1 will be... kind of obligatory. This is how you do the beta. Feel free to pause and like take a look at this, but you do properties and then you open betas and this type of stuff. So new features. Aggressive. You could now have a game rule for aggression. We're gonna write down stuff that I think is important to highlight. 7 new achievements. Added rally points on unit templates. So general UI, unit UI improvement. Hey, Gerald. 2K viewers for the river map mode. That's in all of Twitch. We're receiving considerably less than the entirety. Tall big tree. Thank you for the follow. Added music player. Added coin law. Added peasant enfranchisement. This is one where we're going to have to play and see how good or bad we think this is, but we're going to put peasant enfranchisement. I deserve all the viewers? Surely not. Haven't played since December, but excited to try this. Well, we're expecting to see some a little bit of bugginess and this type of stuff because it is an open beta. Add a return core location peace treaty, allowing locations occupied during the war by the player, their subjects, including subjects of subjects or allies, to be returned to the controller at the time of peace deal. You can already do this, you just have to transfer them, so okay. You can now have preferences for unit balance, automation for auto-balancing armies, added late-game tricorn hats, probably should take note of this, French dress, ditto suit, buildings panel allow users to view all constructed buildings at a location accessible via the location card. Location buildings panel. I guess we'll have to come into game and see this. How come Guthric's stream ended the moment you started? Sus. Hell yeah, that's good. I'm very confused by peasant enfranchisement. We'll have to jump in and take a look, because I don't think it was explained at great depth. 2 new advances, giving control castles. I guess we need to talk about who gets, like, all the content, this type of thing. Brandenburg, excited to see if Brandenburg's fixed. I think almost certainly when we come back we should, or we should probably have a poll now to see what we play when we come back. And Brandenburg's going to be probably one of the options here. So let's write that down on a separate piece of paper. We need more pieces of paper. I hope return core is cheaper than other cores in Peace Deal. Certainly would make some sense. Grenadier unit for Age of Revolution, 7 new units for German countries, added late game female headwear, hell yeah, stay winning, new loading screen, 2 unit, okay, we've read through the other stuff. So gameplay, what we care about most. Guthric played Brandenburg on stream for a few hours and he found it miserable. I think it's supposed to be miserable, but like, there's like miserable, and there's unplayable miserable. I don't know. There's also different players coming to a conclusion. I'm going to just like trust their conclusion more than other players as well. Which isn't necessarily, like, indicative of, like, how good I think they're at the game, but sometimes people have some, like, wild takes, and, like, he's someone that I think, like, agree with, like, him on probably a lot of things, but, like, sometimes he just has, like, a weird, like, left turn angle that, like, I just think is strange. And really, really believes it's correct. Let's see, added complacency mechanic, stop to cabinet members, moving overseas. I think he probably understands, or he just has to understand multiplayer better than me, because I think he probably primarily does multiplayer. But okay. Fixed a bug where local power modifiers for estates were not applied. Local estate powered modifiers were not being applied. That is big. Crown power was... So this is going to be a huge nerf to bailiffs. Someone had told me that this is the case. I knew that crown power was being applied because I've been able to observe it. And so now the question is really, it seems to me that they're applied additively. Multiple people have insisted it's multiplicatively. People have told me that it's additively. So this is something that we're going to need to get to the bottom to. Played the patch a bit earlier today and the local governor building, but I think it's only useful if you have a big landmass. I think that that's probably the case, because you have to have enough land such that, like, you're already losing, like, 40 proximity or so. They really hate Brandenburg. If it has a disaster to make it that weak, well, Bohemia's right next to him. Good buffs and techs. Well, supposedly they made Boho weaker. Estates with high power now have reduced satisfaction. Stay winning plutocracy, because normally what happens is that you get like over 100% plutocratic, what have you, satisfaction trend. So estates now keep a bit more money around, and that impacts their power. They already kept too much money around, but this is mainly a problem when you get too many locations, because they can only build so many buildings at once, and also, once locations are saturated, they can't build anymore. Hiring an advisor now costs 5 government power instead of 20. I think that's still kind of a weird way of abstracting it. Removed all the purely beneficial effects from tribal estate privileges. Nice. That was always a little bit silly that you were just getting a bunch of random stuff from that. By tradition policy now gives 5% cultural tradition instead of peasant estate satisfaction. Okay, so it's useless. Assimilate area can pick a culture instead of using the dominant one. That's kind of a big deal. That's gonna make it easier to culture flip. Favor the ruler no longer gives max tax, but crown power has increased from 20 to 33%. I think this is overall a nerf. Pretty big one. But it might be better in the early game specifically. Privacy and nobility now less satisfaction for nobilities and will push your aristocracy instead of quality. I think that this is good. You generally want to push quantity, so stuff that pushes you the other direction. Hey, thank you for the membership, Nikes fan. How you doing? How are things? Guthric is pretty experienced. He has a strong MP bias, though. Always goes Aristo. Yeah, I mean, I think... I don't think that the difference between Aristo and Pluto is necessarily that big, and you... It's way easier to push Aristo. Just in the abstract, I think Pluto's better. But yeah, if I'm playing multiplayer, I'm pushing Aristo. So 10 months. Although I think the membership is only $2 a month, so maybe just buy yourself a single kind of shitty sock. Brother, we love socks though. Socks are great. They make your feet feel nice. I was thinking if a smaller country having excess control helps with pop growth to help the smaller HRE countries. I guess you could do something like that. Where's the quality push from then? You want to set yourself to be eligible for professional armies? Well, you can push to 20 with just a cab action. So... A lot of people also start with it, but like if you're determined, you could use the cab action, right? They've changed reform ages, added cabinet action to appease an estate. I think that's going to be big. It looked really strong. You have a nice pair of wool socks? No, wool is so last patch. We're not allowed to do wool anymore. We have to do cotton only. And subjects will not develop their own province. No dev province for subjects. That's big. That's real big. I think that's kind of... I don't know if I like that. That seems like a very... That's a very band-aid solution to kind of the issue, which is that of cabinet action economy, because they're just also going to use different cabinet actions. Fundamentally, the issue is that they effectively increase the number of cabinet actions you have. But I guess if they use it for cultural conversion and they use it for religious conversion, these are still things that you care about that are positive for you. But this is a band-aid type of solution. Right, because the underlying problem is still the cabinet actions. But okay, Dumbledore was on to something when he looked at the mirror of Risenhair. Nothing better than a nice pair of socks. He was on to something. Especially, look, if I'm Dobby and you give me a sock, right? Beauty is in the eye of the sock holder. Add a few more sources of promotion to land. Increase the army impact of levies and regulars on great power score, and decrease the impact of forts. You know what? More sources for land might be a bad thing. I think you still want to go naval. Decrease the great power score from being the leader of international organization. Alright. The estate privilege now gives 5% construction speed instead of -10 max control. Well, that's a big difference. 10% crown power instead of levy size. Okay. This is a big one. Gold cap. This is why we don't have to use the mod anymore. Now we have to hit 1 billion, though. Stop export of food when it from markets with no stockpile. Oh, that's interesting. That's nice. Economic base is now 50% potential. Which is going to make it so, if I recall the math, if you have under 66 control, this means you're going to have more economic base, which is bad to have more, and if you have over it, you're going to have less. Because currently it's 75%. Holy Vassal Swarm nerf, it is pretty big. They still are going to get the dev from their parliaments, so like it's still going to get more dev, but... I wear regular socks with comfy pair of moccasins. That sounds pretty nice. On their own, can you make them do it? I don't think so. Yeah. Harbors are also based on proc speed, so 0 proc's gone. Big naval nerf. Big exiting it, but okay, so first of all, they didn't double the effective harbor capacity, and that's what this is doing, and this was like an oversight. But it costing 5 extra procs to exit is not that big a deal, because the if you have under 50% procs, efficiency allows you to go to more locations than procs cost reduction did with the old amounts, and generally you were under 50 with naval, so naval was faster in general, so exiting the harbor takes more now, but I think it's like naval's probably still better relative to land as a result of the patch. This should be We Hate the Vassals patch. I mean, like, it was clearly meta, but like, I don't... just, something has to be meta. You can't just like perma-nerf the best strategy. Estates now get money. Estates get lost money. Is big. But apparently the eco is way bigger. Yeah, you can't just... Something has to be best. And, like, it seemed like from their design philosophy, people who were wanting the blob, like, early on, they were met with, like, kind of the opinion, like, hey, use subjects. And, okay, it's like, okay, we're using the subjects, and now it's like, don't do that. OPM and dev interaction was tad strong, but cutting it seems heavy-handed. Yeah, it seems like a band-aid. Like, a system solution, I think, is necessary, where... the, like, size of how much you're spending on your cost of court, I think, should scale your cabinet actions. And so having these little countries use dev province should be a lot weaker. Yeah. Another beautiful day on Twitch. Hello, hello. I hope they fixed a bug where you can't annex a subject, you can't release any subjects in that area, because, nope, I don't think that that's going to be fixed. I think that that is WOD. The fact that vassals can't develop land sucks. Yeah, I don't know, there's still, like, a lot of upside, but, like, one of the bigger ones was the dev. Like, the dev was really nice. You're still getting the course for free, so it's still... I would have rather they approached the cabinet action efficiency from the other side, which is that I think that you should not get cores if your subjects had cores. It, like, completely invalidates the cultural minigame. People are like, what cultural minigame? And I'm like, exactly. Like, and so I would have rather them be less efficient on that front, but still dev. Because right now, if you want to increase dev, you actually have incredibly few tools, and that's, like, a little bit frustrating. Maybe you shouldn't have a lot of tools, but okay. Game now tracks if location has roads to the connection or capital not. If there are not enough slaves, then laborers are priority for RGO. There are not enough slaves for buildings in RGO, and laborers are... They fixed the plantations. That's big. We won't go into the explanations, but, well, just briefly, it used to be the case that plantations just wouldn't get employed up, and now they will. Slave centers and plantations now are much more profitable, should not auto-close. They fixed slave centers. We held off on our colonization tutorial for so long because these two buildings were broken. Now they're not. It sounds like a bad commercial from the 90s. My dad used to be broken. Now he's not. Get Rogaine for men. Something. Get slave centers for men. Oh no. Slaves will now distribute inside a market. Rebalanced impact of surplus of work to be based on amount of work, not percentage of the population. Was it always scaling like this? Okay. Migration attraction for surplus of work, now percentage of unemployed pops versus required pops of the non-peasant tribe slaves. Okay. There's now negative migration attraction from too many unemployed peasants in a location. This might be worth pointing out. We're going to take a note of it. For unemployed peasants. Because this might really start driving a lot of migration, to be honest. Reminds me of the Arrowhead Helldivers situation where you just nerf everything in the game until the game is horrible to play. Like, something has to be best, and they have to decide what they want to be best. I know some of the devs watch my videos, so I feel bad when, like, there's something I'm like, this is really great, you should do this, and then it gets nerfed, and I'm like... Because I've been, like, spouting about dev province being one of the really big things that subjects are doing, and now it's, like, gone. But, like, maybe it should be, I don't know. It's frustrating a little bit on the making videos and tutorial side of things to like be like, this is great, and then it's no longer great. Why mechanics gotta be great? Or wait, what's the... Actually, we're not gonna make the Lizzo joke reference. Why men great until they gotta be great? Why mechanics great until they gotta be great? That's the one. Alright. You can now build building in the subjects even if they lack advance for it. That's nice QOL. Food price now determined depending on stockpile versus consumption. Ooh. Ooh. Food price change. Food price calc. That's maybe big. We're gonna put a parentheses around it. Not sure how big that is. Historically, decentralized nations tend to develop regionally more than centralized ones. And here, centralization is the only option. Yeah, I mean, I think that the change seems a little bit heavy-handed, and I'm not sure it, like, comports... Well, I don't know enough history. Yeah. It feels like they changed it because people like Bokoan did not appreciate the vassal game for the first era. Yeah, but like, I don't like it because it seemed like that was their design philosophy, like, early on, and I actually like that design philosophy, and now it seems like they are walking it back in a lot of different ways, but, yeah. Gonna have to spam cheap buildings or buildings with plenty of employment in cities. Provinces with negative monthly food and lack of stockpile will now have priority when getting food from the market rather than other people filling their stockpile. Hostile troops in the location now have a direct impact on food production and decay. Womp womp. Double population growth from stored food, so now instead of 0.3 max, it's going to be 0.6 max. This is, like, you effectively get a flat amount of pops, is my understanding of how the math shakes out, because the more pops you have, the more food it requires. You effectively get a flat amount of pops from granaries, and so this effectively doubles the amount you get from granaries. Added in decay for stored food. Also, that makes it so that lower pop nations are going to value granaries a lot more. Marketplace now also requires salt. Nice. Increased pop demands for fur, coal, and salt significantly. Halved the price for wood. Have the base price for wood. That's kind of a big deal, because normally you'd overproduce that. Ugh. Buildings using wool now use twice as much wool. Halved wood and wool price. A lot of raw materials got increased transport cost and reduced transport cost. We might have to unveil the spreadsheet that's not ready yet. Reduced trade impact on effective supply. Reduced trade impact on effective supply. I already think that this produces weird effects. But they're going to get stranger. Prices now take 20 months instead of 10 months. You have local production efficiency penalties depending on if there's enough local goods in the market. Local goods prod. Market goods prod, actually. Like, a complaint about centralization was such an EU4 player issue, and the hate is from people who never play the game anyways. What, that centralization was, like, too good? I think that it was more interesting before they nerfed it. Maybe they should make the dev lower if you're a subject. I think that would be better. I think it would kind of be better. I think that the issue is, like, the cabinet action... Yeah, I think the cabinet... Well, if the cabinet action scales with how much you're spending on cost of court, in some way, then your cabinet actions, when you have a really big country, get a lot stronger. And your subjects are just going to have pitiful cabinet actions, so it's not that big an issue. You could actually scale just that one cabinet action based on it. Feels way too gamey, band-aidy as a solution. Why would subject not be able to develop their land? Yeah, and also, like, the bigger your empire gets, the worse developing one single province is. So, the value of dev province would remain a little bit more flat. It would actually probably kind of be insane if it just pure scaled up. So maybe that's not a good solution. They removed tax efficiency, most of them. I thought that they should just cut them all in half, but I'm less a fan of removing them. Added manpower buildings, new balance on units. Refactored economy code for estates, now show expense titles and other things. Burger impact on trades, now 25% instead of 75%. Alright, well... Okay. I don't know if they made it less impactful than direct trades, but that would... If they did, then everything that related to the metagame for trading, it will now just be inverted. In terms of price manipulation. Okay, made some consistency for trade power, capacity in buildings. Road to capital calculation now works over straits as well. Straits are roads. Fruit and legumes are now more capacity to transport to simulate being more perishable than other food. Fair enough. Legumes were the nice fast one. Benevolence tax now has a less impact on max tax, but instead increases enfranchisement. Okay, monetary fiefs now only reduce the max total tax by 5% instead of 10. Okay, you can lock production methods on specific buildings and automation now change them. Going bankrupt now disbands some units. Interesting. Do we want to put in lock production methods? I don't know if we'll put that in. So basically we went back to centralization being meta. Sounds like nothing changed. I don't know. Getting a bunch of free cores is still good. And like not having to use integrate is still good, I think. The past few months, the amount of people I saw saying EU5 is unplayable increased. It's inevitable for a Paradox game to not to get trash talked. One of the reasons why I get frustrated when watch anyone else other than you. I mean, I've been expressing frustrations about things, but like usually it's about specific things rather than the game overall. I think that like they're changing their design vision though, and that like is a little bit That's like, well, they nerfed all the procs though. I'm super happy about that. Or they changed the way it's calculated, which was like actually just like my biggest complaint. So like maybe I just shouldn't complain about anything today. Going bankrupt also adds some money into the loan capacity, so you don't get a bankruptcy every month. Pop satisfaction of buildings loan control is lower, decays much faster. Capital market language being court language, now trade efficiency bonus instead of capacity bonus. Capital market language being court language gives trade ethic. That's big. Trade efficiency is a modifier that, like, if you stack enough trade cost reduction and trade efficiency, unfortunately, trade efficiency applies before the net amount is created. So what it'll do is if you are selling a good for 10 and you're buying it in the market for 5, it's not applying on the 5 marginal ducats, it's applying on the 10 that you're selling the good for. Which means that if you're buying a good for 5 and selling it for 5, and you have 10% trade efficiency, what it'll do is it'll pull half a ducat of value out of nowhere, which means you're going to have trades that are negative, and it will make them positive. And so with enough trade efficiency, you can just trade goods in a circle and spin up money. And you would probably trade fine cloth specifically because it has a higher base price, or gold. And then as you trade it, you would increase the price as well. Because as you add, if you have like 100 supply and 150 demand, right? Your price will get pretty low. But when you trade stuff in a circle, you add supply and demand at the same time, so you pull stuff back to base price as well. Okay. Noble villas and free villages now have the same stacking limit. Base enfranchisements now 25. Removed many sources of tax efficiency. Less tax efficiency. That's unfortunate, but I think that they should just cut them all in half, to be honest, instead of removing some of them. Bailiffs now give 20 control. Oh, you can only have 1 bailiff for every town or city you have. That's kind of like not even an issue. Food now decays faster in normal winters, so food decay is also an issue. Wow, we have so many points that we want to write down. Interesting, chivalry order has been busted modifiers like legitimacy gain. Yeah. The funny, because they nerfed the Chinese religion for legitimacy game, Bamberg, Wurzburg, and Franconia have it, and it's still insane. Well, the Chinese religion was really good. Wolves not equal wood. They said they halved wool, not wood. Did I just misread it? Okay. I don't have eyes. I don't have eyes, chat. Sorry. I apologize. Let's get through this and then we'll catch up on chat. Towns no longer have food production in city. No urbanization food penalty. Max tap for noble are now minus 100% on power instead of the other one. So they decreased a lot of max tax penalties on them and then made it scale more with power. Stud farms now require far more laborers. You can now build stud farms in other locations in market producing horses. That's a big deal for Asia. Estates now build beneficial buildings when satisfaction... when rich is now satisfaction 50 instead of 33 plus satisfaction over 2. 50% chance instead of 33 plus satisfaction over 2. So they'll build more bad buildings. We'll just put this in the state building rework. Because I know they got more buildings too. Enfranchisement heavily depends on local control. Add a naval governor as proximity source. We'll just put governors in here. Made proper defines and fixed consistent supply demand income. Estates now have their own upkeep for their own buildings. Interesting. The states now upkeep for their own buildings. So they're going to make a lot more money, but they're going to have to pay out. No longer build buildings that give control, proximity, manpower, or sailors. That makes sense. Proximity is now a speed, not a cost. Probably the biggest change in its entirety. Well, actually, if you're not pushing like the like max discounts, this change actually might not feel that big. Other than it like will nuke kind of at the lower levels, I guess, the harbors. Estates will not build things that will primarily benefit another estate. Alright. So they won't build, they won't build burger buildings if they're not a burger. Same for Vic 3, I feel like people regularly don't play. Can't stop saying worst Paradox game ever every 5 minutes. Yeah, just in general, just super negative. Also, what whiplash, because on release, everyone was so big hype on the game, and fundamentally, I feel like the game didn't change. Like, people started to discover the issues. I think I hit the nail on the head with my review, which is that people are going to have a ton of fun when it comes out, and then they'll notice, like, almost every system has issues, and then they'll be like, womp womp. I loaded my Bohemia game, and I cannot agree with the adapted manpower statement. Try loading your Italy run, manpower will go burr. Try loading the Italy run, manpower will go burr. It looks like we're losing quite a bit. Our armies are reinforcing, though. If we take a month... well, one of the issues, I don't know what we were getting before. Is our proximity way worse? Well, a lot more stuff's going to be going over land, I think, than overseas because the harbor change. Because exiting the harbor is not 0 cost anymore. I think overall we have less proximity, though. Well, we could see our maximum control in Genoa is going from 91 to 69. But the big issue is the harbors. Yeah, harbors suck balls now. Actually, entering and exiting both being so painfully expensive. Well, I guess maybe naval just sucks super hard now. We're not even getting proximity over here. But we have enough of a difference to pull us from 92 control to 69 control. But if we take a look at like a segment going through the land, like to here, we're actually going to go up in control. So yeah, it looks like naval probably just got kicked in the nuts, actually. Like super hard. We're just going to put overall naval nerf. And this is with the mod that doubles the usefulness of harbor capacity. Wow, naval's... Maybe naval won't be hyper meta. I mean, I think you still want it for the governors, but like, the 2 free governors, but that's like, maybe all you want it for, to be honest. I like how he's taking notes, I'm trying. A sign of high intellect? I don't know about that. It's a sign that I can't remember everything I want to remember. Alright. Found it really cool you're active on the subreddit. Other advice on the post last night. Your comment was really helpful. You're welcome. I'm not super active. I was trying to be really active when people had no access to information, and now there's like during the summer I responded to every single Reddit post, but not as much as I used to. No Persia proximity. Womp womp. Yeah, we gotta catch up. Why would food decay faster in winter? Because you have a higher demand, you have a higher caloric demand the colder it is. Just in general, I believe, would be my guess. Okay. And you're also, yeah, making less food. Subject action's gonna give generalist an aneurysm. Oh no. We're getting there. What is proximity of speed, not cost? That means it's an efficiency modifier, not a discount modifier. So now instead of stacking a bunch of this gets cheaper, you get more speed. And so what that means is that the cost of a segment is now, instead of getting discounted, you gain more effective value towards it. So the cost gets reduced by 1 over 1 plus x, where x is your modifier. So if you have plus 100%, everything will cost 1/2, because it's 1 over 1 plus 1. Wow, my game has issues on 1.1. Wow, welcome to modern day game dev. I mean, it's never not been the thing. Yeah. Everyone says nice. I don't even know what they're nicing. Alright, we're catching up, though. Is harbor capacity still important there? Like, Antwerp is still better capital than Amsterdam? Yeah, it's even more important. Like, you want to have as much as possible. If you, now, it used to be if you would use a harbor, we're using this mod, too, which doubles the value of harbor capacity, but it used to be that if you could have 50 harbor capacity and still make the exit free, since it's a speed modifier and you just want as much as you can get, if you like use a 50 capacity harbor instead of a 100 capacity harbor, you're just trolling. So, harbors are brutal. If Naval's horrible now, I'm gonna crash out. Not really. I mean, that kind of seems horrible. Naval governor solves the problems, maybe? I mean, I guess. But it's like you're not wanting to push over the sea, you're just wanting more governors, which I don't know if is messed up. They said they messed up harbors, it's a bug. We have the bug fix. This is with the fix. This is with the fix it looks like this. Just to be clear. This is the harbor capacity. Like, the issue is that it's giving this segment, it wasn't, the value wasn't doubled for harbor capacity. Our proximity speed is 167. The amount that we're getting from harbor capacity is 80, over 80, which in order to have this value, here, let's see our harbor capacity. Our harbor capacity is 1. Natural harbor suitability. Oh, bro, is the mod not working? Hold up. I was deceived. Okay, we don't need that. Let's do that. Okay. We're gonna see what it is without the... I still think it's gonna be, like, rough, because what it's gonna do is it's going to... It's still gonna be rough. It's still gonna be rough. But... 100% doom is a penalty and not a benefit. Womp womp. Also, it might make more sense to go land, make your 2 proc sources really good, versus gaining a bunch. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so... This is, I guess, the value before? No, so this is the new value. So instead of a value of like minus 15 or 16, it's minus 10 or 11. So still, it's just going to be like 10% more proximity. So if we let the month tick, we will be going from 91.77, what we had before. And keep in mind, the land route is actually improving, right? What we're getting over land is getting better to 75%. So it's 75% instead of... it's still bad, but not as bad. I think that the relative values should be like a little bit different. Like the proximity here is making it so the control is actually going up here. I mean, if super nerfing naval is intended, it may be an unpopular opinion, but changing the game so much as an update straight up, I think is unhealthy for the player base. I think it's fine if you're doing it every few months. I think it's bad if you're doing it, like, really fast. But, like, from the perspective of making tutorials, it's so frustrating when something just completely changes. You know. So, okay. The naval sucks balls now, even with the fix. Even with the fix in, it's rough. Every country to get plus 100% for more speed in a reasonable time. Plus 100% will take a while. It's also, by the way, if you don't have any proximity modifiers, the proximity modifiers are more valuable at the front end. And also, I think that... Let's actually double check, because I had a concern that they weren't going to change mountains and hills in terms of prox cost effect. He'll still give minus 25%. So, this minus 25%, if you don't have any modifiers, you can see that we have a bunch of modifiers, but if you don't have any modifiers, this will actually just be uber gutting you. It will be way more painful, because you'll be able to go to, like, minus 33% of the locations instead of minus 25%. Or, instead of it costing 20% more, it will cost you 33% more, effectively. And so if you do not have modifiers, going into mountains or hills will be apocalyptically big sad, if that makes sense. So, like, this segment isn't that bad because we have a bunch of modifiers, but the 50%, it will hurt real bad until you have modifiers. So... Okay. I humbly request that you show the river map mode. Yeah, okay, we'll do it real quick. We already showed it, but... There's the river map mode. You can hover stuff, and you can click on locations, which was not previously possible. Is now a good time to try Austria? Probably. I haven't taken a look at their content yet. I haven't played since they ramped up AI aggression. Have they talked about it? Any changes? Base is less aggression and it's game rules, so you could just reduce the game rule if you really want him to be passive. Serfdom got obliterated? Really? How do you project that proximity even outside Italy in 1.1? Overall better or worse? Well, it's way worse overseas. Like, really bad. Because you have to spend... With good ports, it appears that you have to spend 20 extra proximity, basically, entering and exiting ports, whereas previously that was kind of free. What's your favorite change? I like that they changed how proximity works. I'm not sure about specifically entering and exiting harbors specifically. Do they decrease the number of rivers, or are there still regions where every location has a river? There's still regions where every location has a river. Alright, control is now a multiplier for on the promotions. It wasn't not before. An assimilation of pops, not just another modifier. Oh, control is a multiplier. That is interesting. Rather than additive is multiplicative. Removed assimilation and conversion values. You now have the capital action to do it. No base assimilation and conversion. Those values were like so low that they kind of didn't matter anyways. Pops migrating, converting, assimilating, and promoting will now keep their literacy. This is just like a bug fix. Artists in country will now actually be in that country. Sanjiao no longer gives 5 legitimacy by 0.05, as this was insanely OP and breaking all mechanics. You don't say. Tiny rebels will now spawn. Okay, tiny rebels, tiny dancer. They will not spawn, but they will instead just brutalize prosperity penalty. Characters will die most of the time the country gets annexed and will now attempt to move other places. The new culture created by Unified Culture Group now takes the highest influence in tradition. Interesting. Can spend cultural influence to improve your cultural opinion of another. Oh, wow. But not theirs of yours. But if you're flipping culture, this is big. Okay, I don't think we'll take note of it, but interesting. Modifiers now copied from losing a country to rebels and civil wars to prevent Yuan from losing all its bad modifiers prematurely. Added provoke rebels. Base assassination speed, assimilation speed increased from 1 to 2. Base assimilation doubled. I think it used to be like 50 years. Man, they made blobbing so much better this patch. I don't know if you want to use the base assimilation rather than subjects, but okay, another nerf to subjects, because subjects effectively is saving you from having to use your cabinet action, and if you don't have to use cabinet actions anyways, then okay. But at the same time, you have to, having low control stuff is really brutal. So no RGOs in low control provinces, as peasants won't promote. Oh yeah, uber low control, yeah. They just straight up won't promote. You could build a bailiff to force it, but yeah. We'll take a look at serfdom in a second. Burger pops who speak market language will not cultural assimilate if your culture is a different language. Burgers who speak the market language will not culture assimilate if your culture has a different language. That's kind of weird. So currently the market language is driven by burgers. So you can assimilate everyone but the burgers then. That is weird. That is real weird. I guess that you could assimilate peasants and promote the peasants and then they replace the burgers and replace the market language. I mean, I think that assimilation is too fast anyways, so okay, maybe we're okay with this. Cultural assimilation is slightly slowed if the target culture is tolerated, and greatly slowed if it's accepted. Assimilation, we'll just put a bunch of assimilation tweaks in our notes. It goes slower if you have a positive opinion of the culture. It goes faster if the target has a positive opinion of your culture. Assimilation speed now slightly faster if the culture has the same language family. That makes sense. Slower if your target has a local market language. Slightly faster if you have access to the market language. Much faster if they share the market language. This impact is multiplied by market access. Cultural assimilation now based depending on how many culture groups shared between the culture. Unified culture group belongs to that culture group. Alright, just a bunch of culture tweaks. Okay, these kind of make sense. I don't know if, like, completely preventing it, like, makes sense, but okay. Alright, so people have been talking about serfdom. Let's take a close look at serfdom. I might be being dumb, but isn't that a reflection of Naval? It's just the river prox cost? Oh, did they fix the pseudo bug? Exiting a river, it gives a flat reduction. If so, you just actually want your capital in all estuaries. Let's take a look. Okay. Wow, they do not use the ocean at all. Holy. Oh my god, dude. Okay. Oh, looks like they fixed this is a river outlet. That's a river outlet and it's no longer being reduced, so they fixed that. I mean, I think it was a bug, but okay. Yeah, absolutely brutal, the prox changes. Alright, let's take a look at serfdom. Noble estate satisfaction equilibrium plus 10%. That's kind of okay, I guess. Peasant enfranchisement. We don't have kind of a good idea of how this works yet. Since you can generally tax the commoners more, we're taxing the commoners 48% and the nobles less. We're taxing the nobles 37%, and this probably updates on the tick. I imagine, or maybe it doesn't. It's probably, no, we already let the game tick once. I imagine that peasant enfranchisement's a good modifier. Raw materials output plus 10%. Yeah, serfdom sucks balls. Wait, serfdom's actually just awful now. I thought they wanted everything to be viable. This is just bad. Like, actively bad, I think. Because there's no max tax on it anymore. Which is the best part. And you'd rather have combat efficiency than recovery speed? It's just actively awful. What happened to wanting to make everything viable? It's also easier to push free subjects than serfdom. Okay, well, I guess it's... I mean, I think it was always free subjects before. Land England greater than Naval England. Going naval as it stands, you'll be nerfing yourself. I think you still do it because you get 2 more governors, but it's like not because like doing stuff navally is really that good. Serfdom's really bad. Yeah, it's... Yeah, free subjects was one of the first things we were pushing to begin with. No, you're wrong, it's good, just upside down. What am I wrong about? It removes wealth from your nobles and gives it to your peasants. Oh, it's upside down? Why is it shown as a negative modifier then? The modifier's upside down? Let's double check and read it in game, I guess. Determines how much of a wealth share of a location belongs to the commoners. The rest is transferred to the nobility. The way that it reads is that the bigger the number, the more is going to the peasants. The rest is transferred to the nobility. So if we have a big number, it transfers less. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's something to check. Could you look at a location? We're not going to be able to compare between 2 locations. We would have to compare, like, when we have different amounts of the value. Check the enfranchisement map mode. Okay. But we gotta search up the map mode. So it looks like we have a bunch of modifiers. And so they get 70% of the money that they would normally be allocated to them. But this just makes noble tax in general is going to be stronger because this mechanic just wasn't in here before. And so you're just going to want to enfranchise peasants because generally you can tax peasants at a higher rate than nobles. Alright, let's continue on. The peasant tax gets funneled? Some of it. Minus peasant enfranchisement is removing peasant wealth. Yeah. I feel like you guys are trying to gaslight me into, like, Reverseville, where you're saying I'm wrong when I'm saying the same thing you're saying. How did overall income change with the first tick? It's got cut by, like, 60%. Interesting. I wonder why. I'm actually not even sure why income fell that much. We just getting way less from tax? Oh, just kidding. I know why. Because all of our proximity was a consequence of naval stuff, and naval sucks balls. Is that it? Our control's not dropped yet, though. Our control everywhere dropped a little bit with a couple of ticks we took. But it takes a while for stuff to drop. So yeah, like, this nation's gonna fall off a cliff. Yeah, land procs or GTFO, I guess. So eco's better now? Well, the like... Someone... I saw a screenshot where someone, like, tax-based, like, exploded, so I don't know... I think there's more investigation required. Minus 60%, they love that. Changes results in slower scaling, yeah. PMs and trade are probably weird with all the good changes. Yeah, this could also be, like, all of our trades could be awful. A lot of buildings are non-profitable. Yeah, especially, I don't know if we have a bunch of stuff consuming wool, now we effectively have half the supply of wool because everything takes twice as much wool. I don't know. The way the new economic base is calculates reducing our income, probably not, considering we have virtually no slider scaling. We're only paying for one slider. And that slider is 400 more ducats than it was when I was checking around last night. But that doesn't explain a 1100 drop in income, in net income. That only explains 400 of it. Is aristocracy better for the pops now, since plutocracy doesn't give any? Pluto doesn't give promotions? Hold up. Wait, what? I mean, maybe, yeah. Probably. Wow, man. I didn't think Pluto was, like, way better than Aristo. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, I was pushing Pluto every game, but now plutocracy is a huge pain in the ass to push. Aristo's easier to push. as well. Like, free subjects is easier to push and now it's just better, and Aristo is easier to push and now it's just better. The nobles having more power makes it so you lose out on being able to tax them, but we're still able to tax the nobles at a decent clip here. Well, part of it is because they're not powerful, though, right? Them being powerful affects it a lot more, but... Maybe we have Pops demoting? They watch your videos and nerf it because of you. I feel like... Well, sometimes I feel like that's happening, but then also that's like a very generalist-centric way of looking at the world. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more likely to be diluted into thinking that the world cares more about me than it actually does. So, well, thank you for the $5 101 Magi. I hope they fix the scaling events that make you pay. I have not seen any scaling price changes. It now takes 11 months for price to change it, or it's 20. It's 20. Thank you so very much for the $5, Magi. What's wrong with the current harbors that you need a mod for? They doubled all the proc speed modifiers, but they forgot to double harbors. So, they watch your videos and nerfed because of you. Yeah. 4% is a lot. The slider might be worth it. Which slider? I think trade is more viable now. Trade efficiency is better now. Well, if they got rid of tax efficiency... Oh, that's what it must be. That must be a big part of why we're not making as much money. If they got rid of a bunch of tax efficiency modifiers. Our tax efficiency is down to 9%, yeah. Okay. I think it was at like 20 or 30% before. That makes a lot of sense, too. Tax efficiency is strong. I thought that they could just cut the modifiers in half. Apparently they got rid of a lot of them. Aristo was already better for monarchies. This never makes no sense. Yeah, because it reduces the legitimacy cost, right? So... yeah. It just feels like the margin by which I think Pluto was better is smaller than the margin by which I now think Aristo was better, and Aristo's easier to push. You need 500k nobles to get 10% discipline and 0.5 legitimacy. The problem with the aristocracy push will also probably also result in a serfdom push. Is it doubled? Or most things that push values only push one at a time. They just wait for a tutorial to come out to change the game. It feels like... It makes me not want to make tutorials because I'm like expecting a change and then they don't change it and then they make the tutorial and then they change it and it's like, Aristo versus Pluto, expected cost to court? Well, you try and kill your cost... We're not paying cost to court slider at all. With aristocracy. They went from nerfing because of Playmaker to nerfing because of you. I don't think they nerfed that much because of Playmaker, to be honest. They halves every tax efficiency modifier. That's what they did. The tax efficiency from burgers is reduced. I think they just got rid of sources. I'm good with that, though. I'm happy with that. The modifiers are too strong. Do you no longer care about the parliament type if Naval and Pluto kind of suck? I think pushing the naval value is good if it gives you 2 more governors. I just think that you don't look at your nation as a naval nation. You, look at it as a nation that got 2 more governors. They increased the push for cabinet values by a lot. You can push things easier now. I'm gonna write that down. Easier cab pushes, better cab. Okay. But we do want to get through this so that we can play a little bit later, so we're going to try and be faster. This must be why we're not making so much money anymore. It's because sports betting and ad starts. Womp womp. Wait until you need to pay for army reinforcement, cavalry and cannons to get 3x bigger. You'll need to delete half your standing army. That'll be nice. Look at agricultural cultivation reform in Age 1. Yeah, that gives prosperity now. Playmaker doesn't play the way Paradox buffs certain things. He's a wild card. What? I'm not sure. Okay. With weaker Pluto and Naval, does that mean... It was It was really funny that everyone was calling him the Nerf Maker, though. That was, like, on the forums. I did enjoy that, before release. Before release, though, like, I couldn't talk about as much stuff. I had to be a lot more vague because I had access to the nightly version, not the, like, content creator version. So, like, I couldn't cross the streams and talk about stuff that was already changed. But, like, I saw stuff that had already been changed, like, way before, like, you know, someone, like, way before content creators would come out with, oh, look, this is broken, but it was, like, already fixed before they make, like, a video on it or something like this. Would you like legitimacy cost court as an equilibrium? I don't know. The way that it's flat, you either, like, pay for it if you don't. I don't think I have a strong preference. A lot more stuff pushes land and naval. That's good because it was difficult to push those things. But okay, sound toll exemptions will expire if a country that gave them has no sound tolls. If it can no longer build a spy network on revolters, AI divorce different religions, prevent non-existent countries leading the HRE, womp womp. Fix being able to add location to the HRE with only foreign buildings in it. Legislative efficiency no longer attacks antagonism. Legislative efficiency now useless. Because that's all it was good for. Might as well just remove it from the game then. Could no longer annex someone else's revolter. Threatening enemies now has an impact. Added transfer subject penalty. Added subject loyal criteria. Independence movements. Being forced to move capital now updates discovered for all other countries. Forcing a country to become your subject through a war gives them liberty desire that decays over time. Fine. Making you new subject from your lands now sets levy, raising conditions to maximum. Okay. Start a new war. The colony no longer uses. That is now based on economic base, not tax. Based on economic base, not tax. Okay. Is this also going to change how you scale in terms of how strong you look relative to your subjects? You had special access? Yeah. And so, like, it was difficult because I wanted to have, like, Playmaker on podcast to talk about game balance, but, like, I literally could not talk about game balance in, like, it was just too difficult for me to, like, parse that, like, difference, you know? Because, like, it was, like, he would be talking about something, and then, like, I already knew it was changed. I don't even know what legislative efficiency does. Don't worry about it now. Just forget it from your memory. It changes how quickly your laws come into place and your gov reforms. Is pushing land always better now? No, I think you want 50... I think you want 50 naval, but you might want exactly 50 naval. You probably just want 100 naval. Naval gives you more governors. Which is silly. It shouldn't give you more governors. Generals having special access as peak canon event. Well, peak canon content. Well, it's because I was working on the official tutorials. No CB costs 30 stab instead of 25. Fixed an issue where stabs did not result change. Countries now have more freedom to pick rivals. Reduced Base upkeep of alliances for allying with something threat now double, and that means big countries are more willing to ally. Okay. Harder alliance cost changes. We'll write down. I mean, Playmaker definitely did some stuff that I think that led to nerfs. I think that the way that he was building his economy is partly why the bailiff got nerfed, but I was also... At the same time, I was also arguing that the bailiff should get nerfed, because I thought it invalidated, like, the control stuff. But, like, what Playmaker was doing at the time was he was deleting all the cities and just building bailiffs in 100% of locations. Add a new CB that, except for like around the capital, there was just a giant circle of cities. You can manufacture on anyone declared as your rival. It gives support royal marriage with target negative reasons for calling allies to offensive wars. Add a concept where countries can view other countries as a threat. Every rival is a threat. Adds bonus to your country. We'll just put rivals, threat. Rivals and threats, because there's so much things that are in here that just like it's just a new mechanic, right? So there's not much like to say about it change. Increased alliance acceptance relative to opinion. Fiefdoms and dominions can now call their overlord if they get declared by any other subject type. Added more reasons for countries to accept sound tolls exceptions. Senior partners now always get a CB on junior partner. Claim throne CB is no longer given to countries for a character that already rules the target country. Ruler peace. Added subject land to transfer lands amongst different subjects. This is just QOL. New actions to break up defensive leagues. You can kind of... Okay, so you can break up defensive leagues. Transfer subject to diplomatic where you can buy any subject for cash. Shout out to Ryagi, probably doing all caps in there. Just cash. I don't think we'll take a note of this, but if it becomes like super meta to like do it, then yeah. Antagonism reduction was the only reason it was useful. Yeah, I mean, it's just a dead modifier now. Like you getting your laws a little bit faster is just so small in the grand scheme of things. Why is naval bad now? It's not that the value is bad. It's that, I guess for the people who are coming in and haven't seen this, this is our Italy run, which we had booted up. The amount of proximity we're getting in here is like way, way lower. A big part of it is now we're spending, and this is with a mod that doubles the value of harbor capacity to fix the issue, which is that harbor capacity didn't get doubled and every proximity modifier other than it did get doubled. So even with a mod to fix the issue, we are still paying to enter and exit harbors like 12. And so this is decreasing our proximity by like 20. And so when we look at the control, we go from having close to 92 control to 75 control. And then overland, it's reversed. Instead of 75 control, we're going up to 78. Although, like, if you stack enough efficiency modifiers stuff, so the way it is if you previously had 50% minus proximity cost, now it is 100 efficiency cost, and this is break even. If you had less than 50%, now your proximity is better, and this is for overland, also for any sea segments. And if you have more than 50%, if you had more than 50% discount, so if you had 60% discount, now you have 120 efficiency, and the efficiency is not as good. Well, the thing about the harbors, specifically, is that the exit was, you were getting 100%. And you were paying 0.1, right? Right now, we have proximity speed of 248. But instead of reducing this to 0.1, how it used to, now it's reducing it to 11, and this is with harbor capacity value already getting doubled. So, this makes it so that, like, naval is, like, minus 15 control everywhere, with good harbors. But also, you used to be able to reduce this to free in medium-ish harbors, like if the harbor capacity was 50 plus. Now you're punting if you don't have 100% harbor capacity. So we actually might even have to move the capital from Naples, like, to like this, to Tarde. Es más tarde. It's too late. It's too late to have the capital in Naples. Or, like, stay winning Tunis. Like, being 100% really matters, because, everything after reducing it to 0 was, dead modifier, but now you don't have dead modifier from your harbor capacities. So, if you're not putting your capital in, like, Tunis, you're trolling. I guess. Like, no, but, like, actually trolling, because Tunis is going to exit for much cheaper. Can we... Okay, so Tunis doesn't have, like, a bunch of modifiers like we do. They only have the harbor capacity, and it costs them the same, basically, as our Naples exit. So, yeah. You don't lose anything from 100 naval compared to 50, right? It's just 100 is better. You lose overland, you lose a lot of overland trade speed or whatever, right? Unless they got rid of that. Yeah, trade range used overland is a bad modifier. You would rather not get a bunch of these trade range used over X modifiers. That's why land is bad, or that's like it's easier to move stuff over the seas, and so the land making everything cost 50% more is actually like, at first blush the proximity looks like the most impactful thing, but like if they removed the trade speed. Or just made it even, like 10% for 10%, land would be a lot better than it is now. Yeah. So going naval as Holland is not worth it at all, because the region you play is so small you wouldn't want the governors. Yeah, if you played Netherlands, and you just confine yourself to that area, land might be better, except for the trade aspect of it. You actually probably just want to keep the value in the middle. Hegemony is no longer instantly lost the moment you lose triggers. Instead, you get 1 year of revolt. Nice thing. Subjects created by theocracies always take the same religion. This was generally true, so I guess they made it always true. Hegemony is now allowed to be allied with non-hegemons. Are now allowed... what? Could they not before? Okay, Dominion subjects now forced to their overlord. I assume that this is hegemons can't be allied with hegemons? I don't know. This seems weird. Dominion is now forced to take overlord's religion, cannot create pirate nations and foreign building locations. This is actually, Dominions now take religion. This is significant. But this is not a fiefdom, so not a lot of people get access to dominions. But okay, CBs can be extended by parliament. Can be extended by parliament. I don't know what that means. Only nations with non-limited diplomacy can join independence movement. You can share map with allies. Vassals with limited diplomacy now use their overlord's food access treaties with other countries. Nice. It's now possible to enforce a form union. Someone said that I would be upset about something in here. Where's the thing I'm going to be upset about? Scooters can only be given to loyal subjects. Interesting. You can no longer block someone that has positive opinion of you from building in your lands. AI Emperor now heavily incentivized to declare war on other HRA members. No longer declare. Enforcing peace now grants positive opinion and protects side. If they were in trouble, only sieges related to war. Taking account for progressing sieges, diplomatic. Only sieges related to the war. Interesting. You can take maps, peace treaty. That's kind of nice. Especially if you're fighting someone in an area that you've not really explored. Well, obviously, that's redundant. Conquer rival land, who's a threat. Removing rival now only costs 5 stab. Peace treaty, taking land, subjugating nation, transferring subjects, all get the same type of antag. Womp womp. You can't spread. Antag no longer decays in parallel. So you used to be able to do each of these a little bit and get triple the amount of infamy decay. You can no longer do it. Which I feel like people... I was pointing this out a lot. Alright. New rival CB is huge. They have to be threatening to you, though. So they have to be bigger than you. Generally, I think you don't want to fight people bigger than you. Countries will now be 50% towns and bailiffs. Like, the best thing about the towns is giving a new bailiff. Personally, I always felt values should be balanced around a plus 100 instead of minus 100, instead of 0 to 100 either way. Maybe. I think from a design principle, they want 100 to be good, and they want it to be difficult to push. That's the idea, is that a lot of time gets invested in being able to push the additional 100, and if it's a pure sliding scale, then, like, this depolarizes the value from, like, a design perspective of that 100 bink, and so, yeah. Harbor capacity should be like a road. If you have a perfect harbor, it should, 0 actually makes sense. I think it kind of does too, yeah. But, like, the thing is generally speaking, naval made up better than land as you progress and you get more proximity, because naval, so terrain is a lot worse for you. And if you get over 50%, efficiency starts being worse than the discount was relative to how it was before, or under 100%. So, and naval was usually under that, so otherwise naval would be buffed. Are those with the new mini capitals? We haven't slapped down a mini capital. It will surely change the cost of leaving the harbor. What do you think? I would not be surprised. Shouldn't port buildings give flat reductions for naval like roads do that? Yeah, maybe. There's tech that gives flat reductions. The tech that gives flat reductions no longer sucks balls. Those techs used to feel super dead. Yeah, you can make it give flat reduction. Is Constantinople 100%? Yeah, Tunis always winning, basically. Me playing historically equals trolling? Yeah. You go to Smyrna? Smyrna's also 100%. So now you just need, like, 100%. What about maritime proximity? It's still reducing it by a flat amount, so... Maritime is, like, still really good. The segments are the same cost. The segments are actually a little bit cheaper, but... yeah. So we will actually be able to push stuff to really far off areas maybe a little bit better. Sounds like a new parliament action to extend the expiration date of an already existing CB. Oh, that's weird. Venice can get the rival CB on Ferrara, Aquileia. Huge for them. Anyone else having trouble automating trade? We've not tried about it. Talk about Greenland and maps? No. When Greenless talks so fast, he sounds like the rapper from my basement. In your basement? Excuse me? Instant colonization is lost? Meh. Womp womp. Fixed a bug that made ships get name adjacent province. Okay. War exhaustion from being occupied is doubled. Can order ships to return family ports. When war breaks out, QOL. Increased secured flanks for infantry from... Increased secured flanks for infantry? What? Then not only did they... Wow. the guy who's doing there's some person who's on my Discord that's doing a spreadsheet for efficiency of units, but that's a huge change. Because you're almost never flanking, like, because the flank needs to die, but you're almost always secure flanks. And they made it so infantry on flanks no longer lose bonus. That's making infantry a lot better. Handgunners no longer consume food, but they do 10% more strength damage. Naval battles that would end a stack wipe now force shattered retreat. Artillery takes 25% extra damage instead of 50. Do we want to write this down? Let's not double the manpower maintenance for Cav and Art. Whoa. That's interesting. So now everything costs the same to maintain. Or not quite the same, but okay. Alright, we gotta get a new piece of paper here. Military. But manpower. Now, manpower maintenance is just the same across the board. Okay, combat roll is 0 to 9 instead of 0 to 5, making defense modifiers less impactful. Okay, regiments now scale from 500 infantry to 3,000 infantry, and from 200 infantry to 1,200 cavalry. This is making the cavalry ratio even worse. So 500, 3,000 to 200 and 1,200. So a lot of cavalry nerfs, but cavalry is just kind of insanely better. Levies no longer have a severe penalty for assaulting. Levies no longer have a minimum 1k troop size, fixed an issue which would cause a lot of manpower and or sailor losses to be drained from a single pop. Yeah, just like feel like if they would just bonk one location. Not even a location that needed to have sailors, it was kind of random, it might still be random. Bomb Ketch and Archipelago, a frigate now have intended amount of cannons. Alright, mercenaries now cost 25% of the unit construction instead of 150%. 1/6 merc cost. Now if the UI still sucks, the UI will still suck, but and modifiers apply. That'll be huge. Okay. Men-at-Arms now have minus 10% strength damage taken and plus 1 combat speed. Naval combat stack wipes. Armies cannot fully fit into a navy will split. General assigned to the largest possible unit that could embark. Fair enough. Rebalanced impact of friendly troops on unrest by 100% by 5%. Okay. Death to pops from manpower sailors now spreads more evenly. Mercenaries will upgrade their units. Improve distribution of possible mercenary regiments. Tweak distribution for what pops get which type of mercenary unit. Cavalry now requires around double the amount of horses to maintain. Armies, but you can get more horses. Armies will now give combined arms. So let's give combined arms a note. Sovereignty, Tree, and City Guard now give more manpower, fair enough, but if you're building all cav, you're still going to have less units potential, right, because they're costing twice as much. War exhaustion from occupation now harsher, but weighs the occupation by control, so low control areas have low effects. Being blockaded now is more impactful for war exhaustion. We'll just put war exhaustion changes. Geopolitic. Automatic marriage for dynasty numbers will check block for marriage. Privateering Canal generate gold. Pope will no longer explore and colonize when played by the AI. Nice. Colonial charters now count as... Now comp pops reallocated... Colony will flip. It doesn't involve religion or culture anymore. Doesn't involve religion or culture anymore. Alright. So no flipping instantly. I'm so glad we did not make a video on colonization, considering they fixed the 2 buildings and the entire mechanic works differently, and there's no more insta-flips. We would have, like, been talking about insta-flips and this type of thing. That extend CB, it could be useful if applied to subject CBs you have a current truce with. They'll just remake it. Man, didn't even reach maintenance change? That will kill him. What? You mean Connor doing the spreadsheets? Vic 3 Connor? That's not the guy I'm talking about. But his name might be Connor. I can't remember the name. I just know the sound he makes when he spreadsheets. Spreads sheets. More stack wipes and more captures, making navies, capturing navies insane. Yeah. You'll get minorities and colonies time to update the kill wall one. I'm not running back the kill wall run. That was super painful. Like, the fact that, like, no dev... Also, it's gonna be so much worse playing in a low dev area because you can no longer use subjects to actually increase the dev to something meaningful. Oh god, colonies won't use dev province either. What have we done? Oh, so brutal, bro. Can check if you're losing pops from merchant companies in your big cities later. Infantry outscales cavalry a lot sooner. I don't know if it's sooner. It's either better at the start. It was better in Age 4 than cavalry was before. And there's no change to the scaling, so it's either just better from the start, or it outscales at the same time. It just outscales harder when it does. But yeah, we could check and see if we have mercs leaving. The mercs leaving cities thing was something that we needed. Where did we lose cleric promotions from, actually? I don't see any burgers leaving our cities. Guys are demoting literally everywhere. So I guess they changed some of... Does Spiritualists not give... Burgers do... Plutocracy doesn't give potential burgers. Does Spiritualists not give potential clerics in towns and cities? No, it does. Did they change this? Not sure why we have clerics demoting here. But okay. Interesting. Ayer Girlich, thank you for the follow. Combat ability is relatively even from the start. If it's relatively even, then I guess you just build infantry, because that way you don't have to worry about upgrading, and infantry can assault forts, and cavalry cannot. Subjects won't dev anymore? Nope. I'm so sorry, chat. That might be my fault. Save games from older versions will now add new advances as games come in. Stop unavailable advances from giving to release vassals. Institution spread now works as intended. Stop road construction in corridors being destroyed on loading. Womp. Rulers keep crown estate after death. Rulers keep crown estate after death. I don't know. Is that relevant for making sure your crown characters don't get bricked? I don't know. Rivers also ignore vegetation for proximity calculations. Okay, roads already overrode it, but now you don't even need to build the road. Interesting. Have colonial migration and made it more costly? Yikes. Okay. Well, now we'll have workable plantations, so I guess this is okay. I feel so seen, though, because I've been talking about slave centers and plantations for a while, and the fact that they fixed them is great. Remove levy special scaling, because now levies are just big. Rebel investment now showing all the money. Added showcase. Remove double flank bonus for infantry. Oh, remove double flank bonus. That should be under military, dogs. Removed infantry double. So they just doubled the modifier, and then they removed it for infantry. Did they double it? I'm having difficulty reconciling these two bullet points. Remove the double flank bonus for infantry. Increase the secured flanks bonus for infantry by doubling it. There's the aneurysm. What, that is both at the same time? Jealous not remembering who spreading his sheets is in the lore now. Womp womp. Try going to the ledger and looking at your possible clerics modifiers. Diagnosing this is like less important than. I mean, I guess I kind of care. I'm not sure what the source might just be base though. Is there no base scaling for it? There's no base scaling for clerics. Actual? Another base value. Alright, I don't know what it is then. I don't want to spend forever looking. Whoops, wrong thing. I blame whoever released 50 vassals in southern France in front of Johann and their MP. I mean, wasn't that... I feel like that's like kind of what France was doing though. Like, is that not... I don't know. It feels like they have a design vision and then now they're just like backtracking on their design vision. I blame the people who complained about blobbing sucking. Honestly. Slave markets have been fixed, allegedly. I think they doubled the secure flank, as in when the units are next to each other, they remove the modifier that infantry can flank. Oh. Infantry gets no flanking extra damage. You're probably right. No flanking bonus. Got it. That's probably it. They probably changed the modifier from per 1,000 to flat, and maybe that's what they did. If we lost a tick a spiritualist, maybe that would also be it. Okay, content. Getting into the content. You probably need a vassal in it. There's a semi-vassal in it. Add some historical names for England and New England. Added missing Hungarian legal names corrected. This is almost certainly not going to be balance impacting stuff. Reorganized areas in South America. Added more copperstone and lumber to Mesoamerica. Nice. You wanted Mamluks, now start with complacency. Fixed setup. Golden Horde no longer XYZ culture. France dynasties now day. Proper countries, colors. Reviewed the harbor setup in China. Removed the non-Nai and Solon cultures. Corrected, blah blah blah, etc. So this is stuff that doesn't really affect balance. Alright. The action request, anti-piracy policy. Rewrote the visibility trigger of the Reformation situation. Now the situation is either is visible either to Christians who are Nestorian or Maphazite, or country's capital in Europe. Fixed 100 Years War thing, becoming Hussite now removes the Placidium Regium modifier. That's funny that it didn't. Country wanting to defect now correctly displays. Crush Hussitism. So this is going to be kind of just a long kind of thing where Hussite War should be more punishing. So we're gonna do Hussite situation more punishing. Add demand interaction to demand interaction of red turban countries, or demand annexation rather. Added country to avoid Nabucco interest stalemate. Reworked logic of how Japanese clan got land in Sengoku Jidai. Conquest ambition for Timurids. Timurids are just probably still silly either way. Just the AI Timurids will be stronger. AI Timurid improvement. Non-senior partners can no longer become leader of leagues in Italian wars. That seems good. Council of Trent improvement. Alright, we're just going to add HRE, Trent, and Sengoku improvements. Infantry still seems like the best grinding units. Yeah, the only thing I can think of is you're losing more pops. You're losing more pops relative to the cav, right? But that's if it calculates it based off, like, straight across pops rather than based on maintenance. Which it shouldn't be calculated based on maintenance, but yeah. You should be all infantry and have cav in reserve to capitalize on a broken flank. Yeah, they have a lot of, well, they have a lot of combat speed, so the cavalry will fill the flanks fast, which is not necessarily a good thing, because that's actually how you get overloaded fronts. Combat speed's almost a negative modifier, because it leads fronts to get overstacked. Unless you're reinforcing with additional guys. But yeah, I think you want cannons in the backline. Maybe you want a mix of cannons and cav. Milanese Succession will grab with CB. Something Crisis we'll find the first 2 ages so to avoid Red Turban's rebellion situation. Starting that War of the Roses will no longer hide. Fix an issue that prevented War of the Roses from becoming pretender. Decline in Majapat will no longer curve. Your stability is above 30 or legitimacy above 80. Calculation crown power and requirement for the rise of the Schlachta. Now 50% of your crown power at the start of the disaster, divided by 2, plus your current crown power at the start of the disaster. This is to avoid players who already enter the disaster with relatively high crown power. Punishing. Dissolution of Delhi now impacts complacency. It's just like a lot of stuff with complacency mechanics. We're just gonna put complacency mechanic down because I don't think we have a spot on our notes where we talk about it. Complacency, and this is hinged on or hung on a lot of disasters. Okay. A lot of these disasters do seem that they've gotten a closer look at, though. Events. Events might be a little bit of a long one. Swedish King Kalmar recesses will no longer fight for Sweden if Denmark does not exist. Horse lives matter, big true. Depending on... So the thing that makes horses is actually relatively efficient for a rural building. So you might also want the stimulus on the horses to... Probably not. Fixed a duplicated location, reform society, original text. Fixed an unnecessary wrong. Tooltip Spanish event. Exploration events frequency dramatically reduced. Very nice. 1 every 10 years per active exploration to 1 every 40. So it'll feel less spammy. I think 1 every 40 is still gonna feel spammy. Those events, like, those events are just, like, pure, like, RP, basically. You, like, do the exact same choice every single time, and so if they don't have, like, a meaningful choice, then, yeah. But these are just, like, a lot of, like, flavor events, which aren't necessarily something worth writing down, I think. Moroccan strengthen sugar production. Woohoo. Mughal Radhar building will no longer be restricted around the capital. That's interesting. Made Ayutthaya events when also available when forming Siam. Oh, that's nice. We were thinking of playing Ayutthaya, although they didn't win the thing. The event Vlad the Impaler gives you a new thing. Alright, cool. Yeah, so, but these events, I don't think any of these events are going to be anything that high changes balance in a way that is, like, worth pointing out, but they did do a bunch of changes. Okay. Strong and dislike complacency simply for being good at the game, well as realistic. I don't like being nerfed for being good. I mean, I kind of like it. I think Empire should implode a little bit. I wonder if they make stud farms built in different locations after these changes. Yeah, they did. You can build more stud farms. More stud farms is possible. Rejoice if you live in Asia. Hey, so Anatolian Beylik reform now requires Rise of Turks to have ended for the reform to be removable. Reforming from a theocracy to a monarchy now makes the correct ruler. Alright, fair enough. Why would you ever do that, though? French monarchy gives +1 government reform. Nice for France. Formal countries that require your capital within a designated area will now explain the tooltip instead of just asking why. Nice QOL. Government reforms, Galley Lords and Crusade the Sea are now mutually exclusive. We actually thought about making a video on this. Yeah, you used to, yeah. Just huge discounts on ships. Alright. Mongolia is formable. Add parliament agenda to remove free villages for nobles estate. This makes sense. There's new parliament buildings. I think we already made a note of it. Homogenize UI. Added -10 global enfranchisement to the great offices of the Crown France for noble privilege. Alright. Rebalance French ancient taxation and now gives 0.1 legitimacy, minus enfranchisement, extra nobles max tax instead of tax efficiency and global estate max tax. Womp, womp. Huge France nerf. A lot of tax efficiency modifiers, I think, were just like way too big in general. Happy to see. I mean, I think I would have rather see them like mop everything by 50% instead of just deleting a lot of them. But okay. Wrong capital location. Have enjoyers have left the chat. You hate to see it. France got buffed to the forums. Wait, but they got nerfed in another spot. Antagonism tooltip shows you the same tooltip forever. Not ideal. Venetian arsenal building possible to be built inland. Wait, what? The Portmore outpost will automatically be destroyed if the location changes its raw resource. Nice. You used to be able to just like build infinite chili in a location because the Portmore outpost like increases the output of like furs or something, and you stack it on a place that has furs, and then you swap it to chili, and it still applies to the chili, but not anymore. Removed all goods demand generated by tribesmen everywhere. This should maybe even be the way peasants work, honestly. Because peasants engaged in subsistence. But we'll also have to fix our spreadsheet, so removed tribesmen demand. So tribesmen are even worse. I'm actually going to highlight that with highlighter because I have to fix my spreadsheet is because of it. But yeah, they didn't demand that much to begin with, so it's kind of whatever, but removing all of it, okay. Fair. Not a Dweck, thank you for the follow, much appreciated. Added market village building to many Mesoamerican and Andean rural capitals. Add terrace building, added tools. Okay, so Andes is much more playable. At the start, corrected description. Removed excessive custom tooltip from Placidium Regium. New culture created by unifying East Slavic could be called Russian instead of East Slavic if formed by a Russian-speaking culture. Alright, fair. I still have to get to the bottom of who we're gonna do either Muscovy or the other guy, Novgorod, and the thing that hinges on what we do is if Novgorod can't get the cabinet actions, we're not going to play Novgorod. But I have to pin that down because I think it's tied to like culture, but it might not be tied to culture. It might be tied to playing the Muscovy tag. Okay, countries changing religion to religious schools will get added to the school. Several Ukrainian provinces named after regions instead of settlements. Alright, so they... The categories for this almost, like, don't make any sense. Is that really society? I mean, I guess. Okay, is it naming? No, not my 666% chili. No! Favor the ruler, not longer gives max tax? Yeah. The day soldiers demand more than peasants, the one reform that gives possible soldiers is going to be so good. They already demand more than peasants. They demand weapons. But it's like inconsequentially more. It's like 20% more of nothing is still nothing. I think with the buffs to land, Muscovy will be in a better spot relative to other powers. Everyone who is like landlocked is going to get a lot better. Novgorod can't get the cab actions. It's tied to Muscovy / Russia being a monarchy. Womp womp. But Novgorod's so much on brand for the econ. The thing is Novgorod, but like naval sucks balls right now. I don't even know what to do with myself. Fixed demand on lawful territory. Like having this coastal projections rough. The hegemony diplomatic actions were rejected by target country. In return, demand gets rejected. CB against them to enforce it. Nice. So now you will not just get spam embargoed, but only embargoed by people who don't like you. Disloyal subjects CB are no longer blocked against fiefdom. Just because you happen to be in a union. Alright. Geopolitics. Improve malaria infection rates. Take into account climate, topography, and vegetation. Jungle flatlands, tropical location is much more dangerous than sparse hills and arid. Okay, malaria rework. Finally, we can take slaves to North Africa without killing them all. Great Pestilence will only spawn on American colonies in territories annexed by Old World countries if those locations contain Native Americans. So we won't... I'm not sure what distinction this is making. Okay. Great Pestilence always visible for countries that have modifiers activate will not end until the disease has exhausted itself, and most settled countries in America have suffered it. Removed malaria from Cape Verde. Nice. Is the Novgorod tagger just not as good as land as Muscovy? Russia gets the 30 procs cost as Russia, or proc speed. Well, the cabinet actions are absolutely insane for Russia. But okay. The Mont Arat advance for Armenian culture now have minus 66%. Oh, bro, we can play Armenia. We're Armenian. We can RP. Okay. Minus 66% mountain impacts on proximity. Tibet no longer gives proc speed, but instead mountains and plateau impact. Permanent capital from multiplier now also gives mountain and plateau impact, but not, okay, as big. Land of mountains, rivers, is mountains, hills, plateaus, so huge Austria buffs. So we were thinking of who we might want to try and play. Someone was saying that Brandenburg still sucked because Guthuk tried it and he said it sucked, so maybe we don't want to play Brandenburg on stream afterwards. We do have to play Yemen because it won the Patreon poll for a run. We could... I don't want to play Austria on stream because we've already played Austria on stream, and Yemen is right next to Ethiopia. I'm not playing Tibet because I don't want to play Tibet. You guys can't make me. Is that really the only ones that had stuff? Muslim lineage now properly works for tribes. Coke smelting can be researched if the contributions of Derby's event. My brain flipped this to Daddy. I don't know why, but okay. The contributions of Daddy. Provincial governors now give 10% integration speed instead of 2%, and also give +5 subject loyalty. Subject loyalty? What? Provincial governors? This is just the capital of the province, yeah? Well, how's it giving subject loyalty? I'm so confused. Alright, fix it out, or dynamic localization. Alright. Tibet gaming. We're not playing Tibet. No procs for Persia? Come on, man. I was hoping they fixed that ish. Maybe they have it. It just doesn't... I mean, let's check a game. Just because something... Sometimes it lies. But, like, Persia's, like, hard unplayable as a region. Maybe we, Ayudhya as one of our options for what we stream later. Okay. I mean, to be fair, I think this should be something that they get early on. If it's in there. Yikes. Persia doesn't get it. Womp womp. Ethiopia, though. So true, bestie. Oh, Ethiopia's gonna go hard as hell, man. Except for the governors, or like the harbors. Like, it used to not matter that this was like 50%. Now it really freaking matters, or 40%. Oh my god, maybe this is the best capital for Egypt. Not like this. It's not, but like. Austria's not dead yet. Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be good. Novgorod has their own benefits, being a republic, extra cabinet members and stuff. Yeah, but, like, those cabinet actions are insane, man. Like, I think if you don't get those cabinet actions just by flipping to, like, Muscovy culture and forming Russia, which was the plan, like, Russia Republic, flip the culture, like, it's probably better just to stay monarchy. I don't know. Fleury's been playing Brandenburg all day, and I think he had to restart. He's back at 1360. When he looked, he was close to 1400. I think they changed the cost of court so much because of all of the wealth issue. You can't leave the disaster forever because it's tied to an event that happens later. Brandenburg, Tibet now? No, not Tibet. Tibet has awful silver Argios, not god awful, just awful. I don't want to play Tibet. Serbia with 2 senators. With governors, one in England and Belgrade. I played Injuids into Zoroastrian Persia and it was fine. I kind of don't want to play the region. Bailiff Oasis, surrounded by 5 cities everywhere. Can't even do that anymore. Although I lost out on Sunni and Shia content. Mashallah. Greenland stream where nothing happens for 6 hours? Hell yeah, brother. Just the vibe stream? Alright. Yemen can form Ethiopia. The plan was... That's also the plan. Or Yemen can form Ethiopia? Bro, we're so back. I was gonna form... Is Ethiopia tier 2 or 3? I was gonna form Arabia, but... Yemen into Ethiopia into Arabia. Sounds good. Or the other way around. Gold really crucial? Why? Gold. Why does gold equal more control? Like, I get that you could just build a bailiff on top of it. Is it better? After watching your Tall Mamluks vid, I played a lot with the Manuf versus Cairo location, and Monarchy really doesn't feel that bad when the Crown Slider is actually 0% with 35% cost of court. Yeah, no, you can, with the Mamluks specifically, they can make Monarchy work way better than anyone else. I was thinking that we wanted Republic for all the trade bonuses, but you can't even slot in Merchant Republic, apparently, because Major Reform versus... Unless there's a way to deslot the Mamluk one. You're just like, it sucks for you. Hungary could now make Eastern land much higher control. Yeah, huge buffs. Basically, anyone who lives in a bucket, or in a bowl, of like... rough terrain, huge benefit from the governors, and I think it benefits land countries more. But also, like, naval countries got kicked in the nuts. Ethiopia too OP to be interesting in single player. Okay, I don't think we care about the onboarding stuff. We have like 2,000 hours in the game. We're already onboarded. 2D arts, don't care about this. AI. Ah, my pen. AI. So the biggest thing here is aggression, but we already have a note on aggression. Okay, fix an issue where AI would create CBs against their allies with special acts and rise the Turks. Womp womp. Makes them want to use their CBs. These improvements are generally not as much worth pointing out unless they're really huge. I think we might just write down AI improvements. Like, other than the aggression specifically, I think that people were less kind of... It was less important to them. Castile, Portugal, and Aragon starts with like 10% Sunni pops. Oh, interesting. Ethiopia's tier 4, so you could go Aribi into Ethiopia. That's probably the way to do it. You need gold to build local governor? You need gold to build most government buildings, though. Because in Castile, I literally cannot import any gold. Womp womp. And no gold in Iberian markets. Looks like you gotta get, you gotta explore down to Niani. Nani? Niani? Steel maps. Find your way down there, import some gold. If you want a challenge, I recommend Biz. I don't want to play Biz because we're gonna play Biz definitely 100% when the Biz content patch comes out. Prozaki, the gov reform you're looking for, requires that Muscovy or Russia tag, so forming Russia allows is a monarchy, so I guess Novgorod into Russia. Okay, so you can get it, you just have to flip monarchy? Gross. Gross. Just felt like the inevitable consequence of really strong Georgia. I wonder if you can stack... Armenian, Tibet, Ethiopia... You could just stack this shit, right? So if you're Armenian and then you form... If you're Armenian and you form Ethiopia, do you get a discount on mountains? Are mountains super highways for you? That's kind of interesting. Maybe a question for later. Ottomans were revolting Abrahamic communities. The state privilege caused their country to collapse due to it's an issue where they were forbidden from revoking it. Okay. AO will no longer change its law policies via parliament agenda. Thank God. So they won't just stab hit themselves. Oh, wait. Yeah, they won't just stab hit themselves into stupid laws. Or wait, no longer change its law policies via the agenda? Agenda's the button click, not the like action that takes 50 support, right? I think this means they won't take the 12 stab hit. So the issue is like the way the AI approached Parliament, or when we've taken a look at it in the past, is they just click all the buttons, which is really bad, and generally you punt stab really hard if you do that. So I think that's saying they won't do that for law changes. Fixed incorrect calculations on how religious conversion works, causing ally to not... Okay. Made AI aware of discipline modifier. I guess they didn't care about that before. More likely to research technologies to upgrade its forts in the mid and late game. Nice. They don't just stay on castles for forever. Castles are super... There should be a level between castle and bastion. Castles are just super assaultable and, like, bastions are not. But I think we're just gonna write improvements. They built too many towns in general. We're just gonna write improvements, I think. Military fixed an issue of getting stuck for transport. Siege boarding province. The army would run out of food. More restrictive, less border guard. All of this. Okay, but none of this seems too crazy. Like, so we'll just say there's a lot of AI improvements. Now Eastern Europe is way better than Western Europe. I don't know about that. Because there's no gold in the West. I don't think so. Pops are too important. There's way more pops in the West. Seems like they resurrected a bug where clickables like armies and econ tabs become frozen in a highlighted state and need a save reload to fix. Oh, Jesus. Going across Carpathians or Caucasus feels wrong. Playing something Arctic adjacent might be interesting due to how new demands, global export of fur, the like. Oh, that's true, but so Novgorod already won a poll, so we gotta play Novgorod. And I think I wanted to do like an extended run for it, is the thing. Castile also has now very bad estate privileges, like add 5% rebel threshold non-fiefs. Armenia into Ethiopia. It's quite a distance from Armenia to Ethiopia. It's not that big. The targets are all soft. Because mountains are minus 66% Armenia, but no hills, it could mean less efficient if the terrain isn't steep enough. Yeah, basically. Super highways on mountains, but get bricked by the hills. Have you played it? No, we're reading through the patch notes still. But I think we're almost done. We're on to interface. And then we're gonna like skip modding, basically. And probably skip bug fixes. Unless they're, well, we'll probably skim bug fixes, but we're through the meat and potatoes of this. Added map mode for economic base. Map modes. New map modes. Rename technology to advances. Weren't they always called advances? Ported better road builder mod to the base game. Mod creator GDI Jeffel. Thanks, Jeffel. Coalition and technology map modes. You can now change the... I love this. Added coalition and tech map modes. Changed technology to advances. So they added the map mode and they changed the name all in one. You can change the map mode. I also love that everyone calls it... Everyone, like, identifies it as tech, but they want the name to be advances. But even internally, they're thinking of it as tech. You can now change the map mode in a builder that forces map mode, but clicking on the map will restore the map mode as in EU4. Oh, so we won't have to do the thing where we spam backclick and escape to go back and forth. Alt-click now opens the production view for the selected location. Nice. Potential tax base map mode fix. Yeah, conquer desired. Yeah, so it's just a lot of map modes. Added river map mode. I don't like the way this is phrased, because this is phrased in such a way that there was not a river map mode that was taken from us. You know? You know what I'm saying, chat? I don't like the way that this is phrased. Added a river map mode. That was only after it was removed. Can I build the stud farm without the RGO? Yes. I feel like we're not a fan of the way this is work. This is the way this is described. Hell's Wonder. Added great power status threatened alert, which pops up at the risk of losing your great power status. Discard alerts can now be undiscarded or not shown again. But okay, there's a lot of UI improvements, right? Panels. The trading panel will now show market balance instead of moved goods to make it easier to micromanage trades manually. Zero size pops are no longer shown on the Rebel view. Changing the trade capacity of all existing trade will no longer instantly modify the profitability of trade during trade rate maintenance changing. Yeah, I think a lot of this is just... This is all needed, though. The Mercs panel is, like, so rough. In terms of, Let's actually take a quick look at it, because Mercs are, like, way better. It's crazy how, like, we just got absolutely dumpstered in terms of income. Is lacks of tax. I think it's mainly the lack of tax efficiency, but I also think that the tax efficiency modifiers were out of line anyway, so. Okay, so if we wanted to recruit mercs. Gather new mercenary army. Now it's not hire a new leader, so this is way more clear. We can poach someone else's. We can bribe the mercenaries. Alright, let's gather a new army. No, UI is still kind of ass. Oh no, wait! No! This is so good. This is so good. It tells us where they hire into now. This is so good. And where they're from. Can we sort by where they're from? Probably not. But now, because it's telling us where they hire from, we have a much better, because you have to hire them relatively close to where you're going. So we could hire a Bohemia one. We could hire them here. Oh, and it's... Are we not going to be able to adjust? We won't be able to adjust what mercs we hire. We just hire the stack. So they completely remove that functionality. Oh, also, they're so cheap. Holy shit. Holy shit, they're so cheap. They're so cheap. Oh, God. 20 units for 100 ducats. We have 250,000 ducats. And what's great is, I think in theory, the way that the left to service mercs thing works, I think in theory the way it works is that they're leaving to serve in the region, so like, and filling a pool. So if we use the Mamluk mercs, we're depleting like Mamluk pops. So we don't want to hire mercs from our own areas. Maybe we can automate this. Still, it feels like I don't know how I feel about that. It's way faster to not be able to change the composition, and maybe it makes more sense. Oh, the upfront cost is 3K. Yeah, that's more like it. 100 a month. Okay. We see modifiers. We just don't have any merc modifiers because we actively avoid them because they didn't do anything on the previous patch, but now they're going to be good. Because if it costs 3K to hire 20 units, it's like, okay. But if we have like minus 60% cost, there's so many costs of mercs modifiers. I don't know if they just like nerfed them to the ground because they just like previously weren't applying. But, you know, that 3K can become 1K, you know what I mean? And then, yeah. Arrow to change the mercs on the far right? Oh no. Oh, there it is. Cool, cool, cool. You're right. You're so true, bestie. No standing army playthrough. Well, it affects how your subjects feel about you a lot. But maybe. Maybe no standing army fighting playthrough. They broke revoke privileges cost? In what way? Name of Italy's the weirdest you've ever seen? That's because we're a theocracy, because theocracies are just better. Okay. But that does seem much better, especially because, like, not knowing where the mercs are coming from, and you just have to, like, racist your way through it, where you're like, this guy looks Egyptian, so he's probably coming from an Egyptian place, and then he's coming from Greece, and you're like, my bad, dog. My bad. Alright, shout out to Cleopatra. Just a little bit of reverse action on that one. Add an upgrade icon in macro builder where players can upgrade their buildings. Functionality in mass builder, rearrange build layout, better display information. Okay. Added production efficiency. I think that, like, a lot of this is just, okay, its UI's been improved in a lot of ways. So, subjects no longer appear in RGO builder as construction is not possible in their territories. Interesting. Do they nerf the armory? I don't think so. They're mocking you with regards to the river map mode? Basically. No, I remember... I feel like I've been pushing the river map mode for a while. To some extent, but, like, it was the map mode people wanted. Like, I use it so much, and, like, they had never shown it before release, and then I remember they were, like, streaming on release. Someone asked to see the river map mode, and the dev's like, can't find it. don't know where it is. What happened here? Aztec unit sizes are 1,500? Oh, interesting. Does it change centralization, decentralization meta? I think decentralization is probably still meta because the cabinet actions you save on coring territories is really important. Because otherwise you have to integrate and convert culture, so I don't think it necessarily changes it, except in instances where you already have, and this is one of the reasons why we wanted to play Ayutthaya, where you already have annexation discount cost, it becomes better. I tagged you in a screenshot on Discord regarding... Only nobles as leaders. Peasant to state sat. Oh yeah, that looks no good. Alright. Have you checked the nightly order for Bamberg or Würzburg? I've not. Do you think playing as a small HRE nation or in Netherlands is viable now? Yeah, it's certainly a lot better because you're not going to get run over as much by France and Boho. Tooltips being fixed, I think, is not something we want to read through. I could be wrong. And balance graph will now have a position value tooltip for every value on the graph. But balance only shows like the last 12 months or 2 years or something. Yeah. Game now has 7 game speeds, fixed pop-ups from exceeding borders on long country names. Added C-zone, added confirmation. C-zones will now be highlighted on the map when you hover them. I think that this is maybe... Add additional sort by on the list of markets. It's nice. Increased icon size by 10 pixels. This is nice. Like the way that space is taken up in the game and the UI is like a little bit rough, I think, in a lot of spots. Where like little things are too little and big things are too big, if that makes sense. Correct road cost calculation in Overlord's locations, nice. But I think that this is like less stuff that we need to necessarily draw attention to. Functionality in UI is improved. Also, like, reading through a UI change versus, like, actually just seeing it, like, is a lot less of a thing. Okay, we'll just kind of take their word for it. Modding is not stuff that we understand. Translation, woman in Gauching. Arigato gozaimasu. Alright, multiplayer... fixed issues, especially a lot of crash to desktop issues, apparently. Miscellaneous added mounted state for DLCs. Alright, Iron Man backs up better. Exile status is always clear at the capital, even if it's occupied. Repatriate troops will also now check allied lands. Civil wars, now get employment system. Yeah, so the bug fixes I don't think we need to focus on too much. Or the bug fixes we cared about were fixed, which is slave centers and plantations now work properly. You think playing a small HRE nation, or yeah, we do. Revoke privilege costs. It costs 0 to revoke the privileges for your states because they're, for some reason, 0% power. Oh. The power calc. Got it. That's what we were looking for. Alright, well, new bug, new me. Okay, so I think we've gone through the list. We are going to have another stream that we're going to restart for in like 30 minutes from now. But while we're here, we should probably decide who we want to play. So let's maybe take a look at that for the next stream. And then that way I could get something to eat and not just stream for 12 hours straight. And also use the restroom and stuff too. So, I suppose Austria is a candidate, but we played Austria on stream before. We have to play Yemen anyways. I don't know how people feel about Brandenburg. I guess we could take a look at some of the content, because we know that there's more content for German countries. Right, Trier got content. Well, I mean, it's content. Okay. I think Palatinate got content. Yeah, that's a lot of content. Fort limit. Monthly control of state satisfaction equilibrium. Ayutthaya is interesting because Ayutthaya we can stack. We can go centralization on Ayutthaya. And the reason for that, you get more annexation cost for going centralization, right? And Ayutthaya, I don't know if it's visible here, but I think they get like 40% discount on annexing subjects. Diplo annexation costs, we get 15% here, and they get more when they form Siam or whatever. And they're a one location minor, like actual one location. And with the centralization, they can reduce that discount to minus 100% eventually. So you could insta-annex subjects, apparently, or 1 month. So, I mean, we could vote for Brandenburg. I guess you guys want to see the suffering. I could suffer so you guys don't have to. So Brandenburg's a thought. Ayutthaya, or anyone who has a discount on annexation cost is a thought, because centralization changes. Oop, not weighted. Alright, we want to allow country changes, but just to kind of come in on this, the speed of annexation, minus 33%. I think you get enough modifiers that playing decentralized, this just slows you down, and it's a little bit annoying, but okay, it's not the end of the world. But on centralization, getting this discount, this plus speed, oh! They reworked this to an efficiency modifier too! Speed of annexation is now, it's not a discount. It's not annexation speed minus 33%, it's plus 33%. This is also, they got me. I shouldn't have commented about Ayutthaya being able to get a 100% discount in a place where it could be seen by the devs. Not like this. The fun was ruined before it began. That's my bad, boys. Right, this is, it's not a discount modifier anymore, it's speed of it. That's why we can't have nice things? Yeah. I mean, like, everything should just be an efficiency modifier. Okay, so Ayutthaya is not going to be busted centralization then. Because there was one other source that we had seen, so even early on they were going to be able to get, like, minus 80% or something and annex people real quick. Jorth, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. So maybe Ayutthaya... Generalist broke the meta before it was meta. The Ayutthaya meta? Yeah. Terrible. Because, like, Siam gets it too. And monthly dev. But yeah. Free subjects is overpowered now. No reason to go serfdom. That change to me is a little bit... I already thought free subjects was just way better, but like they just like uber buffed it and like they took the wind out of the sails of serfdom. So yeah, and as far as I can tell, it's not like easier to go serfdom. The thing is it's easier to go free subject than serfdom. Same with Aristo. Aristo's now just like way better than Pluto. Plutocracy sucks balls, dude. You don't get pop promotions from it anymore. And, like, discipline's not, like, a bad modifier. Getting nobles isn't bad. Like, you're teaching the devs too much, Generalist? Demeted? Yeah. I mean, I was going, like, Pluto every time, but Pluto and Aristo, it was close. I think this kick to the nuts of plutocracy was just unnecessary. Now, every run, you're just gonna go aristocracy, theocracy. Because it's also just a huge pain in the ass to push 100 plutocracy. It's a big pain to push it. So now it's like, it's not even better, and it's just like way more difficult to push. There are a few places I thought there should be multipliers versus efficiency, centralization versus decentralization. Semantically feels like they should be multiplying annexation speed. But those are age 3, 4, and 6 bonuses. I don't think I've ever seen you play that far. Yeah, but like playing as a one location country is way faster. Like we would be a lot more speed 5 and waiting playing as a smaller country. But okay. So back to Germany and trying to find if there's anyone with decent content. Was there more content from Messian? Messian already had content. Monthly dev. We go feral for monthly dev around here. Um, 10% production efficiency is also nice. Trying to remember all the people who got content. Cologne got content as well. But it's just like a few modifiers. I don't think that this is... I think we make Brandenburg one of the Bamberg. Please click Bamberg or Wurzburg, not roleplay, just look at their content. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know where they are on the map. I'm gonna be honest with you. Never looked at this country in my life. Content? What content? Oh, we just spelled Wurzburg? Oh, with the stupid... Can we do Z-Berg? Yeah, we don't... the ampersand or whatever it is, we can just avoid it. Ho ho ho! Unlocks First Spang Society. Alright, what does this do? Order of Chivalry. First Spang Society is what we care about. I feel like things are being concealed from me. Chat, do you ever feel like a plastic bag floating in the wind? First spawn gives 0.1 devotion, but devotion isn't even that good. Absolute banger. Woo! Swabia got buffed for Burger Pop? Oh, let's see that. We like that. .1 legitimacy? That's pretty solid. That is pretty solid. Okay, so let's take a look at what countries did well in the poll. We could do Portugal. How do people feel about Portugal? Because Portugal did good in the poll, and we have to play them. The thing is, we've done on stream now multiple kind of Iberia stuffs. So maybe people... I think people might be Iberia'd out and Italy'd out. We're gonna later this month do Kiev. We want to do a run Novgorod. We could do Sweden on stream. Sweden would make sense on stream, but Naval seems like it's gonna get maybe buffed. This is also an issue with Portugal, so maybe we want to play someone a little bit more landlocked. Ethiopia, we're gonna be doing Yemen. Ethiopia is really caked up right now, though. We could do Armenia. Is Armenia even selectable, or do we have to release play as? You know what's funny is mountains actually, even with just this... Oh, and they get monthly dev, haha. Even with just the mountain one... Mountains are less impactful than hills. Poland or Austria? We could also do Hungary. Hungary makes sense. Austria we've done on stream before, but that was our very first stream. So we could do Austria. Well, we could do Poland. We could do Poland. Maybe we should do Poland. Mali is landlocked, kinda. Maybe we put Poland in here. Biz game. Not gonna do Biz, because... we're gonna do, like, probably a Biz entire campaign when the DLC comes out, next quarter. Naval's torture now. Armenia would be cool. Let's put Armenia down. Serbia. We've played so much in this region. I kind of almost like... I mean, I don't necessarily want to play Poland, but, I mean, I guess we haven't played... Serbia. Serbia, we can also get max discount on minus 100% cost on forts, which is funny because we're obviously... I didn't see anything touching theocracy. So a huge... Like, the meta is probably still theocracy. We go Uber Fort. We also haven't played Bulgaria either. I kind of think I would rather play Bulgaria or Hungary, though. Because new governorship should be really nice for these countries. Timurids? Oh. They do have new stuff. I haven't played a Horde yet, also. It's another thing. Oh, I feel like we're not gonna get to do like a lot of normal stuff though with Timurids going Timmy. Armenia +1, Timmy +1. Serbia's a good choice. Teuton's interesting. Teuton's into Prussia. Kind of overlaps a little bit with Brandenburg. Team Armenia now. Joe Biden's ex-husband arrested, charged with murdering current wife. Not really that relevant, but okay. Arctic Fur changes. Portugal and land Quebec. Let's go Armenia. Why is theocracy so good? Because you don't have to pay for your cost court slider. And it gives a bunch of other bonuses. To be fair, actually, Uber cracked out is going to be the control the borderlands now. Because this is also another big part of it. Oh, they didn't double it. They didn't double it, so this has gotten nerfed. If all the other procs things have been doubled and this one hasn't, then it's been nerfed. So they have nerfed theocracy. Alright, fair. But also, Iberian is like... with the changes to bailiffs, lieutenancy being able to be a proximity source for bailiffs giving plus 20 control is also probably just kind of cracked. Armenia, Hungary, or Siam. I think we'll have Ayutthaya in the pick. Halich. Horde's still broken. Armenia into Persia. Not doing normal stuff to me is kind of the point. You might be right. You might be onto something. Do we have formables as Armenia? Tunes into Scandinavia. Chatty's controlling your borderlands. Not like this. You know what? You know who got a bunch of changes? Peru. I forget which one is the one we want to play. I think it's this one, Cusco, right? Cusco gets the things. But they made this apparently way more tolerable. So right now, looking at my thing, I have Brandenburg, Ayutthaya, Portugal, Sweden, Austria, Poland, Armenia, and Inca. Did I see your suggestion? Was it playing as a cat? Play the Trap and Zutine Empire, but try and switch Armenian culture and Armenian Apostolic Church. I don't know what empire that is that we're talking about. Trap. Oh, did they rename these guys? Can we form Armenia as them? How do we flip Armenia? I wonder if their search was distance from capital, not distance from capital through land when they doubled everything. I mean, Trebizond is an option. Our geo output's good. We can check though. So land value should be doubled. Prox cost through land from land has been doubled. No, yeah, there's an intentional nerf on yep. They don't have starved to death, but they don't have help with the controller or the insane winters. Fair, but people wanted to play Arctic. Play as a bank? Absolutely not. Armenian culture borders you. You need to take one province for the other person for a horde. Armenian culture surely to form Armenia. That's not how it works though. Like if the tier is different or wrong, then we won't be able to. You have to flip, but you can form Armenia? Like, what tier is Armenia? Can we do Georgia into Armenia? Upset everyone? You have Beacon of Christianity and then flip not Christianity. Georgia's got 10% procs. Procs is generally weaker than it was before, though. Or well, you don't hit like a threshold where it just gets insane. The first 50% procs is actually better, but I think that we saw them having procs late, yeah, which is not anywhere near as good as procs early. You're an empire, no way you can form Armenia. The country rank is different than the country rank. No, the country rank and tier are two completely different things. Armenia's tier 2. India will go crazy with regional capitals. Yeah, that's another thing, is we could play India. I was thinking about India's going to be really good with regional capitals. I don't know if someone wants to see like Orissa or Saptagram. We could just say Indian tag. But Georgia into Armenia. Or if there's a better country to do that. What subcontinent is this? Yeah, so we would also want to move our capital into Asia for the Asia tech. I've said Saptagram twice, yet you ignore me. Damn it, I should have read that not out loud. I didn't see your comment in here. Elliot, today you've said Saptagram twice? Saptagram is on the list. So we'll move Saptagram or Orissa. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Hormuz, Kurdistan, Armenian culture for 3 dev techs. Hormuz into Kurdistan into Armenian for 3 dev techs. Just now? It's like literally not even showing up on my restream. I'm so confused then. Hormuz into Kurdistan. Who do we need to be able to form Kurdistan? Kurdish. Does you have to be Kurdish, or do we just have to be... And it's not a single word in how you ignore me, basically. I just don't think you have to follow it. Much appreciated. He's foaming over dev techs? I mean, you're not wrong. Where's Kurdistan as a form of wool? These guys are Kurdish. They're not Kurdish culture, though. That's kind of a plan, I guess. Now, the issue is Kurdistan's tier 3. So we'd have to do Hormuz into... This is not an intuitive formation chain. But doing Georgia into Armenia... into Kurdistan kind of works. We just have to be in Kurdistan. Kurdistan is also... You don't need to form Armenia, you just need the culture once you form Kurdistan. And then we could go Persia. Is there another way for us to try and get discounts though? On the plateaus. Because just mountain discounts, it's like, would be kind of rough to try and do this. This sounds so cursed. What do you mean? All these people are friends and love each other within this region. What are you talking about? So maybe let's take a look at... Armenian culture gives mountains. Ethiopia's what tier again? We would have to do Armenia into Ethiopia or Ethiopia into Armenia, but then we would get minus 100% cost. Austria into Persia? Austria into Kurdistan into Persia? Oh... Culture-specific ones get removed when you change culture, but this stuff's not on the culture. Or is it? Oh, it is on the culture. You're right, it's not on country bonuses. And then... Ethiopia is a nation bonus, though. I think Austria and country bonuses. Austria into Persia. The thing is, it's going to take us forever to do that, or we're going to have to play a very weird game. But Austria into... Okay, Ethiopia is what tier? Ethiopia is tier 2, so we could do Austria... In theory, we could do Austria into Armenia, or Armenian culture. Austria, Armenian culture. We could do any tier 2 nation. Navarra. Austria-Persia. Any religions with prox bonuses? Well, we're just doing Shia, because mashallah. Shout out to the descendants of the Prophet rather than... I can't even meme about it because I don't even know it that well. I think it's Sunni is the consensus group and then Shia is the blood group, right? Ethiopia's tier 3. So Ethiopia and Kurdistan are mutually exclusive. We can't do both. But one of these is giving us... Kurdistan's giving us dev, and this one's giving us mountains impact. Your brother, I don't know about any of all this. The Austria into Persia will be such a pain in the ass. Lithuania? Arministra? Because wealth is more estate in Castile, you have no gold early game. Building local governors. Lithuania into Japan. Please chat. You're hurting me. Why are you doing this to me? I don't even want to, like, think about Lithuania to Japan. Japania. I don't even know you can do it anyways. Austria and Armenia into Persia and Israel, not like this. How many people can we... I guess that's what I get for trolling the... But we just need Armenian culture, Flip. Is Armenian culture... Well, just Austria and Armenia culture is actually kind of low-key, really nice. Army maintenance is really good. This is actually a very solid culture. And with assimilate area, we could assimilate the entire area. So just Austria, like, other memes aside, which... Aside. Can Eastern Rome find China? Not like this. Aztecs into Spain. Ethiopia's super good now. We could do... Alright, if we do Austria, we might do something weird. I guess we could put Ethiopia in the mix. But we're doing Yemen. Ethiopia and Yemen. I think as Yemen, we're going to form Ethiopia over Arabia. Because Arabia seems kind of butt. This is what you get. Yemen into Ethiopia into... I mean, I didn't specify on the Patreon poll that we couldn't do it on the run, but it would be Yemen into Ethiopia into Persia. Crusade on the Mamluks. Holy Roman Kurdistan. Alright, so if we pick Armenia here, we'll do like Georgia and Armenia or something like this, and we will get to Kurdistan way faster. We could try and live the dream and go or Moose. I think we're gonna make it like... Is that what you guys would prefer? Is Ormuz, accept Persian culture? Or flip Armenian culture, form Kurdistan? Rather than playing like Georgia into Armenia? And then we get a triple dev. Tier 3 with 2 bonuses? Disgusting? Basically. It's just bad. I mean, we get 3 dev bonuses and minus 66% on... mountains. But not on hills or plateaus. But minus 66 on just mountains is a big deal. Reducing them from minus 50% to like 13% makes mountains into plateaus, basically. Is this what we think? So I think... Okay. It's time to construct the straw poll, I think. Although I think we've spent so much time talking about this weird, strange choice that it's gonna... What do? Brandenburg? Ayutthaya. Portugal, Sweden. We're gonna have multiple options, so you're gonna have to do, Can we not do rank order voting? Bro. Excuse me? Wow, they really just said people are not intelligent enough for rank order voting. Oh no, wait, I'm not intelligent enough to use the drop down for ranking poll. Just kidding. Sweden, Austria, into maybe weird stuff. Ormuz into Kurdistan, with Armenian culture, into Persia. Poland, Inca, Inca, and then the last one is Indian tag. We don't know what. Okay. Now this is a rank order poll, okay? So that means you rank what you want, and then you click vote, okay? Let's explain it to the chat, because otherwise we're gonna get it wrong. Or some of us will get it wrong and they'll be upset, okay? But we rank what we want from 1 to 8, and what you rank highest is going to get more points, see? Yeah? And so if you really don't want something, you drag it to the bottom. And then the thing with the total most points will be the winner. Tyrol, Armenia, Tibet? Not like this. Is there a way to fix dev malices on mountains? No, but you can, like, mathematically start to overcome with roads. We have to have a complete road connection, though, to get the maximum dev bonus. So doing Austria into Persia will be possible, but we would have to conquer a straight line from Austria to Persia. Rank them all as one? That's not how it works. The memeing has gotten out of hand. Indeed it has. Time to use money to buy votes. That was the Patreon poll, and Yemen already won. Again, you drag where you want them in the ranking. If you click vote, after just putting one at number 1, that's on you. Okay? You guys are maybe just clicking vote with Brandenburg at the top of the list at the start. Portugal's still number 3. I think you guys are not following instructions. Because Brandenburg started at number 1. Portugal started at number 3. I guess Sweden's down quite a bit. But India tagged... This is almost in the order that they were put in. Task failed successfully? Gee, oh no. It's like almost the same order that we put them in. This is almost the same options, man. It's like so close to the same order. Hit vote all right away. We explained it before we gave the link. This is almost the same order. God. No. You rank it so you rank like what you want to see. Not like this. People don't know how good India is. India is insane. You know what's also really good, as maybe playing a tall India, is the fact that India is the only religion that gives diplo-annex cost. So, with centralization, people don't watch Eurovision or what? We have a lot of Americans, I think. That's why democracy sucks. I mean, now you guys are... Now Brandenburg's just collapsing. Not that I want you guys to vote not Brandenburg, but I just want you guys to know how ranked voting works. Not like this. The delay is crazy. I already voted 3 minutes ago. Everyone knows how insane India is. That's why nobody wants to watch it. Georgia, Armenia, Kurdistan, Persia seems cool. I just wanted Trebizond because they started an empire rank. Was Hormuz at the bottom? No it wasn't, but now it just being clearly at the top is maybe making that people want to see Hormuz and Kurdistan with Armenian culture. I understood Brandenburg high. This guy just doesn't want to play Brandenburg. Not like this. I don't mind playing Brandenburg. I think it's pulling teeth, but... Wasn't there a randomized order option you could have clicked? I don't think so, but maybe that's on me. Revote? Or no, I don't think we're gonna revote. I think if we go back to poll and then show results again, it resets. I think you guys... Oh, the problem with... We have to flip Armenian and then not Armenian and then Armenian again. We have to culture flip a couple times. I have a really long eyebrow thing. I'll deal with that later. Okay, so let's jump back in the game real quick and have a think. If we are going to do Ormuz. Into this, we might have to culture flip multiple times. But the most painful one will be flipping off of Iranian back onto Iranian, because I think you need Iranian to form... I think you just need to have your capital in Kurdistan to form Kurdistan, so this is kind of straightforward. But I think in order to form Persia, we do need to have the culture of Iranian. And we start Iranian as Ormuz, so that means we'll have to swap culture 3 times, right? Surprised India's at the bottom? I'm surprised Inca's not higher. The poll's not wrong, it was the people who voted. I mean, one of the problems with democracy. Play Brandenburg and tell Guthuk you made a guide just for him. No, I don't think so. I heard you were struggling, my friend. So I made a guide for you. Alright, I think we're gonna link the straw poll again. And then be back in, like, 30 minutes with a new stream. But it is looking good for playing our moose into Kurdistan. Maybe people just do want to see Brandenburg. Ayutthaya got really good votes, but I think that's because it started kind of high at the top. Problem with democracy is that other people started wrong. The problem with democracy is it's government by the people, and the people are suspect. The people are suspect. What you would want is... The problem is, though, that power tends to corrupt, or corrupt people tend to get in power. So, it's not that democracy is great, it's that everything else sucks. Inca got a whole rework. Shortest distance to X number of formable nations. Well, we don't have to do anything too crazy weird. Hindenburg's is okay just to see a shit campaign. Thank you for the Ayatollah generalist. I mean, like... you could do top 2. You could do it with just 2, but then you'd be ignoring Armenian tech. I mean, Armenia seems really important for the region. The region doesn't get any discount reductions. Sounds like time for the generalist to become generalissimo. I mean, I've thought for a long time that if you have someone whose actual interest is the good of the people, like authoritarianism isn't that bad. The problem is that authoritarianism is great. The problem is that's generally not the case with authoritarian people, and also it's just an incredibly high-risk environment for anytime there's regime change, such that it's like not worth. But like, yeah. Okay, we will schedule the next stream, and we will be back in 30 minutes. I'm just gonna get something to eat, use the bathroom, maybe walk around a little. Can we schedule a stream while we are live? Is that against the rules? It's not. Alright. So we'll just get a little screenshot of this. And make a thing. Use the old thing we used to have. And then if anyone has any like last second thoughts, concerns before we end this stream, I suppose now's the time. I guess we're not re-polling, so suggestions not as welcome. In terms of play this nation. So let's do this, copy this, paste this. Sorry, I'm making a thumbnail as we speak. I suppose I could do this after we're offline, but I wanted to give the link. Maybe that's not important. The sizing is all wrong. Not like this. Oh my god, the thumbnail looks like shit. Chat, please. Make the pain stop. Make it go away. Alright. There we go. We have dialed it in. See you later. Alright, see you guys. It's gonna be 30 minutes-ish from now. So, I think we will schedule a stream. And then be on our way. Brandenburg #1 now? It is not #1 after we made a thumbnail. No shot. Son of a bitch. Oh my god, no. You guys are trolling me. You have to be trolling me. I already made the thumbnail. Like, you can't do this to me after all I've sacrificed. This is like, I have to be getting trolled, right? Make a Brandenburg thumbnail? Just so that you guys could change something else? Nobody liked that? Stop the count. It always was Brandenburg. I mean, the funny option would be doing Brandenburg now. Oh god. It's like also not winning by like 2, it's winning by 6. If I make a Brandenburg thumbnail, like 100%, can you still vote? Yeah, you can still vote. How did we get here? I don't know. Alright, we're gonna make a Brandenburg thumbnail. Generalists, you're stronger than a democracy. Play India. Oh. Yes, dear. The vote was rigged by the pressure boost. There's also gonna be so many people playing Brandenburg, man. Maybe we veto. We'll veto the motion. Veto the motion, Anthony! References no one's gonna get. Alright. Lots of people need to vote for Ayutthaya to troll, maximum troll generalists so that he can make a Brandenburg thumbnail and then have Ayutthaya win. Alright. Brandenburg into, I think you want to form, Ottomans as Brandenburg. You want to flip Turkish for the Uber discipline. Discipline's the thing, like, you kind of want to stack. Alright, time to do a screenshot of Brandenburg. I'm gonna be upset if we... Ayutthaya wins now. I'm considering vetoing Brandenburg, though. Alright. 2-vote system, democracy simulator stream. So which thumbs has he made so far? I'm just finishing the Brandenburg one. Wait, refresh? Not like this. So stupid. It's like I'm downloading the Brandenburg one from Canva right now. We might have to just like redo the vote between the three of them. No, it's Ayutthaya. This is so stupid. All of this is really stupid. We're just gotta do a screenshot. To be fair, like, most of the stuff was the background stuff. There's no way you guys can have it be not Ayutthaya, well, not one of the three by the time I upload this, and I'm saving them as all 3 different files, so we'll have the truth of the matter soon enough. We could just run off the 3. Veto Brandenburg today. I would show the clip from Rome, but like 100% I'll get copyright struck for it. Brandenburg at top, is it? It is in the top. So I'll get the I vetoed buttons. I don't even know how to spell Ayutthaya. Okay. Oh, we don't even have the browser up. Womp womp. So we need it not minimize. Okay. I think we might just have a 3-way runoff between these, considering there's been voter fraud for the purposes of trolling me. And we're still gonna do rank order, but it's only gonna be between 3. Or we're gonna spell Ayutthaya correctly. Ayodhya. Or moves into Kurdistan, Armenian into Persia, and then Brandenburg. Ranking poll, create poll. Alright, here's the new poll. Voter fraud? Surely not. I think there was voter fraud. Playmaker came in, blame it on him. Where is he? We gotta time him out. Playmaker. Voter interference. Playmaker brought his boys. I'm here to play Brandenburg. Son of a bitch. Just gotta time him out so he can't interfere with the election. Mods, time Playmaker out for 2 minutes. We can't have his interference. Just get this out of here. I don't even know if I have any active mods right now, not like this. Playing Brandenburg to desensitize him, don't worry. I think multiple people are playing Brandenburg. Play what you want to play. That's not how democracy works. Today, every content creator will play Brandenburg. Tonight we dine in hell. I'm sad seeing to make the cut. Chat should respect our fallen hero. Wait, I can time Playmaker out. There we go. Hold the phone. Timeout. 1 minute. Just deletes all his messages too. We will not have dissent. Flurry was also playing Brandenburg. Make it look like an accident? Yeah, finger slip. Flurry suffered heavily with Brandenburg. I assume that Playmaker's suffering as well. Playmaker, how you doing? Just kidding, we banned him. Or we timed him out. He'll be back in a minute. Or, with rightful indignation, just leave the stream, to be fair. It's like, I never deserved this. It's actually very close between the two, which is also unfortunate here. Can't spell vote without veto, that's what I'm saying. Voter intimidation. Yeah, people don't want to get banned like Playmaker. We're typed out. I hope I didn't accidentally ban him. If I accidentally banned you, Playmaker, that was not my intention. I voted Portugal, so let's do that, I guess. I just got up. I don't think you banned the right person. Womp womp. Just come back after being away for a half hour. Is this the new stream? No, it's not. We actually gotta get out of here. Because I want to use the bathroom and eat something. But I also want to schedule the stream as the thing that we're gonna be doing. We're gonna set a timer for democracy. Alright, the polls close in 2 minutes. This is the final vote. Polls close in 2 minutes. I want to see Brandenburg because Flurry was struggling. I'm starting to think you're actually one of the better EU5 players out there. I imagine I will struggle as well. Piety Pose. See? Thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Is the Ayutthaya PU mechanic still broken? It has been since release. I don't know. Is it actually broken? If it's broken, we might just veto it then. Robber barons are still 100% broken. You can't reliably get rid of them. Yeah, but we could do streamer luck and then look smarter than all the other content creators. Polls closed. Ancient reference. Polls never... Legends never die. Polls never close. Alright. Oh god, it's so close. It would save us a lot of headache if Ayudhya is just bugged and we could just play our moves. If, like, people just vote our moves. This has been the most painful democracy we've had. We have a lot of painful democracy, too. A lot of, like, starting a stream and then not starting a run for, like, hours. Not hours, but, like, 30 minutes or something. Journalist Gaming Classic, actually. Okay, 10 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright. Ormuz wins the vote. We were scheduling a stream with our initial thing. The initial winner. Before everyone decided to troll me. Okay. Patch 1.1. Ormuz. Start. Into Kurdistan. Armenian. Into Persia. Perfect. We will schedule it for 30 minutes from now. We will be back in 1:15 for those of you in the time zone I have. For everyone else, we'll be back when we're back. Oh my god, did we not use the thumbnail? I'm pretty sure I used the right thumbnail. I'm not done with my hanging chat. Easy win, easy clap. Yeah. Alright. Hopefully I got the thumbnail right. But we will be off. We'll be back in 30 minutes or earlier if I'm done eating and using the restroom earlier. And, like, I guess taking a little bit of a break. But, with Ayudhya, the ruler dies. His son is meant to become ruler of several countries, but he goes into a weird state where he's both dead and not dead. Schrodinger's ruler. And the mechanic doesn't work at all. Really? Well then, I guess I'm glad we're not playing Ayudhya.